One Piece: The Legend of Creation, Chapter 41-60. 41041 Mirror Image. Boom. Although he has already used iron blocks, Lu Chengkong is not specializing in iron blocks after all, and he has only practiced Rokushiki for a long time, and the battles he has experienced are limited. Although his progress is fast, it is better than those of CP9 in the original work. There is still a big gap between the powerful stunts that the guy has cultivated after more than 10 years of life and death battles. No, the iron block will be broken if it goes on like this. Lu Chengkong's face was very heavy, and at this moment he thought of what the beautiful queen said: "You already have the foundation of your body and will, so it is necessary to slowly go to school. Learning now and selling now is the best way to learn. Success or failure is here, let's fight." A flash of determination flashed in Lu Chengkong's eyes. He decided to achieve the combination of rigidity and softness he had envisaged before under the pressure of external force, and to focus on the hardness of the iron block to a greater extent. Unloading force. Iron nugget, Tai Chi. Lu Chengkong tried his best to keep his mind empty, thinking about nothing, only one thought, that is, Tai Chi's hardness and softness are combined, and while controlling his muscles to resist the sword chi and wind cutting, use 4 or 2 strokes of 1,000 jins. The stance will remove all the terrifying power of these sword chi. Of course, this is ideal. Now that Lu Chengkong is using it for the first time and he is still thinking of giving it a try, it is already good to be able to remove 1/3 of the power. Unload it for me. Lu Chengkong's tone suddenly calmed down, like an ancient well without waves, but what he didn't know was that his eyes had turned into black gems unknowingly, without a trace of light, but his heart is very calm. He will not be happy because of success, nor sad because of failure. He doesn't like things and doesn't feel sorry for himself. He just does his best and that's enough. Strange, his aura has changed. He was fierce just now, but he seems to have lost a little stamina and has the mentality of absolutely believing that he will win. But now it has really changed, the kind of eyes that believe that he can definitely do it. This is the look that a strong person should have. This kid is not simple. Juliana was a little worried that if she shot Chong Lu Chengkong, something would happen, but after feeling the change in Lu Chengkong, the last bit in her heart worry is gone. Snapped. How is that possible? If he has endured this sword chi, then it is normal. The sword chi wind has clearly been cut on him. Why did it suddenly transfer on Lu Chengkong's body, but the next second later, he left his body very strangely. Could she not be surprised when she faced such a light situation for the first time? Have you succeeded? Sure enough, you have to have absolute confidence in yourself. If you don't even believe in yourself, then how can I succeed? Vivi raised the corner of Lu Chengkong's mouth. As expected, he grew the fastest in battle. Under the pressure of strong external pressure, Lu Chengkong completed the iron block Tai Chi in one time. After the iron block hardened, his body endured 70% of the power of wind cutting, and the remaining 30% was destroyed by him. All removed. The battle is really starting now. Lu Chengkong said softly. His aura suddenly changed. He finally found out what he was missing before. Yes, that is the confidence to win. In the original book, Luffy had this kind of confidence. Every time he fought, he never thought that he would lose, and Lu Chengkong was not timid after knowing that the opponent's strength was stronger than himself, but his momentum was obviously weaker than the opponent in the battle. Because his subconscious already thinks that the other party is stronger than himself, and his chances of losing are very high. This kind of mentality is a huge defect for a strong person, but just now Lu Chengkong has successfully made up for his own defect. Really? Then use all your strength to show me how strong you are. At this moment, Kuina was completely concerned about the person Vice Admiral Lu Chengkong put on the same starting line as her. Although she had previously admitted that he was the opponent, but absolutely did not admit his existence on the same level as himself. Just like the first time Zoro faced Hawkeye in the original book, he just admitted that if Zoro didn't die in the future, he would have the opportunity to become a powerhouse of the same level as himself, and also reported his name and pulled out his strongest weapon, but at that time the eagle eye in his heart did not regard Zoro as a powerhouse at the same level as himself. This was just a kind of affirmation for Zoro, just like Juliana's affirmation of himself before. Then open your eyes and see clearly. Shave, Shigen, finger pistol. Lu Chengkong also used shave, and then used a straightforward charge as a boost to use Shigen, finger pistol, which was one hit kill. This is the strength you said. If you can only reach this level now, I'm so disappointed. Juliana's tone was full of disappointment with Lu Chengkong, but disappointment is disappointment, and the battle must continue. Lina also used the previous wind cut, but the power was more than twice as powerful as before. I'm sorry, you've been tricked, the mirror image clone. Lu Chengkong's eyes flickered, but unfortunately, the black gem-like eyes seemed to absorb all light, so Juliana couldn't see the light, otherwise she would definitely be alert. I saw two people who were exactly like him suddenly appeared on the left and right sides of Lu Chengkong, and then one of the three stopped, maintaining Shigen finger pistol posture and directly collided with Juliana's wind cut. What? Juliana's face changed. Seeing the appearance of the three Lu Chengkong, he immediately remembered that the other party said that he was a capable person, and he didn't understand that everything just now was just to confuse himself, but she was a master after all. In an instant, she entered a state of alert. In her heart, she obviously subconsciously believed that these clones were just to confuse herself, and the only real attack was the main body. Gecko slash. Juliana's eyes narrowed, and without even thinking, she slashed a slash to the left like a moon, directly piercing the air and slashing towards Lu Chengkong, who suddenly appeared on her left. You can confuse my eyes, but you can't confuse my perception. Even if you minimize the breath on your body, you will be noticed by me the moment you approach me. It seems that I look up to you. Juliana sighed with regret, as if she had already won. Although Gecko's slash is not her most powerful trick, hitting Lu Chengkong can make her lose her combat effectiveness or even be seriously injured. I'm sorry, you've been tricked. Just as Juliana sighed, another Lu Chengkong's voice sounded behind her, and suddenly a creepy feeling spread throughout the body. As a strong person's perception of danger is very sensitive, within 1/100th of a second, she had already realized that the other party's clone was offensive, and she sent this clone to confuse herself. Just when she was about to fight back, she suddenly felt that her hands were tight. When she raised her head, it happened that Lu Chengkong, who was slashed by her gecko just now, came to her side without incident, even ignoring that she had already inserted herself into it. The weapon in her body grabbed her hands so tightly that she couldn't fight back in the first time. 42042 Breakthrough. How is that possible? Even if your clone has attack power, it's too weak to survive under my gecko slash. Gulina shouted in disbelief. This is the inverse of the mirror fruit heaven's place. Yes, the clone with 5% of the main body's strength in the early stage is very weak, but he has an advantage, that is, as long as the mirror image is not hit by a devastating blow in an instant, then Lu Chengkong can use the spirit force to repair him. To put it simply, the spirit of the body is immortal, and the mirror image is also immortal. I want to know, I'll tell you after you lose. Shigen finger pistol. Lu Chengkong sneered, and stabbed her back with a finger, sending out the speed of his power in midair. A sound burst. Damn! Juliana's face changed greatly. It was easy to break free from the restraint of the mirror image clone's small power relative to her with her strength, but the outcome of the battle is often divided in such a second. Don't say for a second, the stronger the person who fights, even in 0.01 seconds, can decide victory or defeat, or even life and death. Therefore, after breaking free from her avatar, which was barely considered immortal, she was about to use her strongest move. After that, she only felt a pain in her back, her body suddenly tensed, and the color of pain flashed in her eyes. She didn't care at all. What really hurt her was that she underestimated the enemy. She underestimated Lu Chengkong in the last second of the battle, so it was clear that her strength was far superior to Lu Chengkong, but she lost in the end. It was clear that if Lu Chengkong wanted to kill her just now, he could completely attack her heart or throat, and she was already dead in the battle of life and death. There is still a huge gap in strength between us. If it wasn't for my abilities and moves, it was the first time you faced each other. Even if you underestimated the enemy, I would never have won you. Of course Lu Chengkong knew that Juliana was at this moment. The idea of for a swordsman, defeat is not a shame, but a baptism to make him stronger. But a swordsman can obviously beat his opponent, but in the end he lost because of a little underestimation of the enemy. So the blow to her is very huge. Unreal swordsmen are absolutely not allowed to underestimate the enemy, especially after I admit you, although this is your strategy, but at the last moment I did have a slight underestimation of the enemy, which I cannot forgive myself. Gulina's face is full of sadness. She has failed many times and has been defeated many times, but she has never been discouraged, but today she lost to a person who is much weaker than herself because of her underestimation of the enemy. Can't a woman really be the number one in the world? Otherwise, why would I lose like this? Isn't a woman not only inferior to a man in terms of physical strength, but also mentally? Juliana muttered to herself, that sad look seems to have lost the whole world. Obviously, the failure just now has caused a shadow in her heart. If she doesn't deal with a bad one, Juliana's kendo career will stop there for life. Hey, Juliana, you have no confidence in yourself. As long as you are not dead, as long as you stand up again, you will be fine. If you make a mistake, you can correct it and not let yourself do it again. People's hearts are firm and firm. There are also times of negligence and flaws. As long as you break it and stand up, you can even overcome the innate limitation of a woman's strength, so you will admit defeat for such a trivial matter. Lu Chengkong knew what he had to do, whether it was because the other party saved him or because she admired him very much, and he got his own recognition. He couldn't just watch this woman sink like this. I don't admit defeat, so what if I don't admit defeat? What if I overcome my lack of strength? I'm not defeated yet. Maybe what he said is right. Otherwise, why have I never heard of that strong woman until now? It's a pity that Juliana is not as simple as a failed blow, but triggered what Kushiro has already said. These words caused a great shadow when she was young. If you can't completely break this shadow, the same will happen to Liana one day, and maybe this will be an opportunity for her as well. Really, that's just your short-sightedness and shallow knowledge. Chengkong and I have seen two terrifying female powerhouses, and a little hockey released by one of them can make the sea covered by her hockey completely still. It's hard to stay in the air for a long time only by the power of the, but they don't care about these false names at all. It's because you are too persistent. Go your own way and let others say it. Just when Lu Chengkong was about to say something to free Juliana, Khalifa's voice suddenly came. Lu Chengkong immediately looked over and found that Khalifa had woken up at some point, but she was able to say these words because of herself and her. Juliana had already woken up when she was fighting, and only she who knew the cause and effect of all the feelings would say such a thing. Is there really such a strong person? You didn't lie to me. Gulina raised her head and stared at Khalifa's eyes with sharp eyes, as if to see if Khalifa was lying in her heart. Why did I lie to you? If you didn't save Chengkong, I wouldn't be bothered to care about you. It's no good for me to lie to you. Is it important to have such a strong person? Do you have to have a strong female powerhouse before you believe in women? Can you hold up for half a day? Can't you try to use your own efforts to create your own strong road? I really doubt how you got the strength of the swordsman. Although Khalifa's words are a bit bitter, but every word was like a sledgehammer, constantly beating in her heart, making Juliana unable to listen even if she wanted to. Yeah, isn't that what I've always pursued? I'll do what others can't do. If others can't break the legend, then I'll break it, go my own way, and let others say it. Khalifa, the words were like the twilight drum and the morning bell, which shattered all the shadows in Juliana's heart like a slam, making her stunned and suddenly enlightened. As she kept muttering in her mouth, the decadence and sadness in her eyes continued to subside, and in the end, her eyes shone with dazzling light like star diamonds. At the same time, a strong momentum suddenly erupted from Juliana's body. Just now, Juliana, who was calm and confident, has returned. Not only that, after breaking the shadows and obstacles in her heart, her swordsmanship has become more advanced. Obviously, she made a breakthrough again, just like what Lu Chengkong said. She broke and then stood up. 43,043 Gulanas passed. I owe you a favor. After Juliana recovered, she immediately returned to the way she used to be, and she admitted that she owed Lu Chengkong and Khalifa a favor without saying a word. You don't owe me. If it wasn't for you yesterday, I might have died, and if I died, Khalifa would have followed me. At that time, it will be one corpse and two lives. In fact, we owe you a favor, don't say it. How about a fight? Lu Chengkong glanced at Juliana, who was going to say something, and immediately blocked her words and gave them no chance to entangle on this topic. Okay, I'll make you two friends. Juliana is also a hearty and generous person, especially after the breakthrough. There is a hint of arrogance, but when she speaks, there is no cover up, and she seems to be generous, gives a sense of openness. Hearing this, Lu Chengkong and Khalifa looked at each other, and they both saw approval from each other's eyes. Obviously, the two also agreed with Juliana as a friend, whether it was character, strength, or actions. Recognized by both of them. So the three of them sat together and wanted to chat. During this period, Lu Chengkong asked vaguely about Juliana's identity and family relationship, etc. It may be that Lu Chengkong and Khalifa's help to her just now won her favor. So she didn't hide it. As a result, she and Lu Chengkong guessed the same, and it was Kuina's mother. She and Kushiro had been practicing with a master since they were children, and they naturally came together in the end. It's a little inconsistency, but nothing major. But after Kuina was born, because the idiot Kushiro didn't know how to accommodate, I didn't know that what women needed most at that time was comfort, tolerance, and a sense of security. Instead, they continued to say that women can't be great swordsmen. At the last moment, under extremes left the family to pursue his own path, and then went back to refute him on the day he did it. I want it. Hee, I was young and energetic at the time, and when I got married later, I realized that I didn't like him at all. Juliana said with a look of nostalgia, a little regretful and a little helpless on her face. I heard you say that the person who taught you and Kushiro swordsmanship seems to be your father. If you don't want to marry him, someone can force you. Did your father force you to marry him? Lu Chengkong asked a little strangely, and Khalifa on the side was also nodding his head in agreement. You also know that fighting in the world of pirates is very cruel, especially when I entered the Great Waterway, I was born. Growing up in such an environment and teaching, of course, I developed a kind of strength. The concept of respect. In addition, I was still a bit handsome at that time, and many people were drooling over me. In addition, my father fanned the flames behind and asked me to get married quickly. If I was annoyed by him, I decided to make a bold statement, saying that I would. The man who becomes my husband must have the strength to overcome me. And my father also agreed with my words. After all, in the Great Waterway, how can I protect me if there is no strong strength? So in the end Kushiro won me, and I had no choice but to marry her. After all, the one in our pirate group everyone is a promise, I can't wipe my father's face. At the beginning, it was just a little contradiction. At that time, I naively thought that it was enough to have strength, and feelings could be established and cultivated under the protection of strength, but later I realized that I was completely wrong. I didn't like him at all. Just at that time, I already had Kuina, so no matter how big our conflict was, I didn't have an attack. After giving birth to Kuina in the end, his first sentence was not caring, but a disappointed sigh and said that he was not a man. I was almost for a woman who died in childbirth. He didn't care about me for the first time, but about this issue. The more Juliana said, the more sad, the more she said, the more angry she became. In the end, she couldn't help but pull out Shiyu and slashed against the sea continuously, and the terrifying sword she continued to shoot out from the blade. The calm sea divided into cracks under the erosion of Juliana's sword energy. Later, I couldn't stand him anymore, so I left alone. Originally, I wanted to leave with Kuina, but at that time, I had just given birth, and I was weak, and it took a long time to recover from my strength. I have so many enemies, I can't ensure Kuina's safety at all, so I leave her behind and go out alone. From the first time I saw my daughter, I knew that her future was definitely the same as mine, and I didn't want my daughter to follow the same path as me, so I must become a great swordsman, the best swordsman in the world. When Kuina grows up, she knows that a woman can also become the number one in the world. As long as she is willing to work hard and pursue it, she can do it. Hearing this, Lu Chengkong remembered all the information about Kuina in the original book, and he had to admit the word, mother-daughter connected heart, and admired Juliana's vision far beyond Kushiro's. At least as a father, he doesn't know how to comfort his daughter, and he doesn't know what his daughter needs. But a mother can know what her daughter needs at the first sight of her daughter, and even fight for it. No wonder she can cultivate to this level. At this point, because she is not simply to become stronger for herself, but also for Kuina, so that Kuina will not be at a loss in the future road of swordsman, and have greater confidence and motivation. Sister Juliana, this man is so hateful, I will definitely help you kill him when I see him in the future. Khalifa was immediately excited, and she was even more annoyed after hearing about Kushiro, but as soon as she said it, she remembered that it seemed like Kushiro Itsukulena's husband, saying in front of his wife that he killed her husband made Khalifa very embarrassed for a while. I didn't have any relationship with him at all. I was with him for so long because of Kuina. From the day I left, I made a decision that I have nothing to do with him anymore. My daughter is my surname. Don't you understand? Compared with Khalifa's embarrassed look, Gulena didn't care at all, but said to Khalifa. So that's the case. It seems that Kushiro also knew Juliana's thoughts, so he didn't change Kuina's name. He is really a husband and father who has lost all face. Lu Chengkong and Khalifa are not stupid, how can they not understand meaning in Gulena's words? Just because she was a woman, Kushiro didn't have any hope for her, and he didn't even value her very much, so he didn't care who his daughter's surname was. On the contrary, when Kushiro was born in Kuina, the first thing he did was to know whether it was a man or a woman. It can be seen that if it is a man, Kushiro will never let Kuina and Juliana's surname. This can also explain why his strength will increase faster and faster after Zoro arrives, and even catch up with Kuina, who had a big gap. It should be that Kushiro saw Zoro's qualifications, so he opened a small stove for him in private, and only so Zoro's strength can improve so fast. 44044 New Decisions. Fortunately, you are not the same as him, Chengkong. I want it. After being silent for a long time, Khalifa suddenly hugged Lu Chengkong with a fluke, and the attitude of a little daughter looked like a little woman in love. Happy and sweet look. Don't compare me with someone like him. Maybe in his heart he thinks it's normal, but in my opinion it's too much. Since marrying her, whether you have feelings or no feelings, you have to do it my husband's duty. Lu Chengkong said to Khalifa, his voice full of disdain for Kushiro. Lu Chengkong also saw a lot of this kind of thing in his previous life, especially in the feudal landlord period. Many families were like this, and one of the people from one country, Japan, was the best among them. For this kind of thinking, this kind of person is most disgusting. Well said, I hope you can do what you said today. If one day I find out that you have failed Khalifa, I will never let you go. Juliana first praised Lu Chengkong, and then she looked threatening said. It's a pity, you won't have this opportunity. Lu Chengkong didn't care, instead he was sincerely happy for Khalifa. Just now Lu Chengkong knew that Juliana is definitely a person who promises a lot of money. Since she can speak for Khalifa in this way, Khalifa is regarded as her good sister and good friend, so how could Lu Chengkong be angry about this? Everyone is talking about me, what about the two of you? What are your plans in the future? You two are only 7 and 9 years old, right? You have such strength at this age. So are you two going to work for Marine for the rest of your life? Juliana suddenly realized that she was talking about her own affairs, so she immediately shifted the topic to Lu Chengkong and the two of them. I believe from the previous battles, you have also discovered that my fruit is not easy, and Khalifa's as well. We can't be too public until we don't have enough strength to protect ourselves. Appropriate publicity is necessary, but for now we don't have arrogant capital yet. This world is too big, people in the world think that the most powerful ones in the Great Waterway are the dead One Piece, King of Pirates and Whitebeard, and of course the Golden Lion who has been imprisoned, but where are they? It will be thought that the real strong are always hidden behind the scenes, and the two of us are eating the fruit of one of the strong perverts. Quote. Speaking of this, Lu Chengkong couldn't help but imagine the scene when the godlike girl came. Haki, who was overwhelming like a god, actually stopped the sea. Now that he thinks about it, he can't help but fight. There was a shudder. Not only him, but also Khalifa next to him remembered the strength of that mysterious girl. Is it one of the two women you told me before? Hearing this, Juliana was also interested. After all, she had never heard of a woman who could be so strong. Now that she heard Lu Chengkong if so, she also knew that Lu Chengkong and the two were not lying to her, and of course she was interested in the identity of this mysterious girl. Do you know about half a year ago in Sabayati Archipelago all the Marines and Tenryubito collectively knelt down to 5 young girls? Lu Chengkong himself also wanted to know who the woman who did not appear in the original work was, but unfortunately he himself I don't know how to tell Juliana, I can only tell her what I know. I know, you wouldn't say that 2 of the 5 people are you and Khalifa. Gulina nodded and said without thinking, but she understood the words as soon as she said it, and her face was full of horror. Looking at the 2 in front of him, he said in disbelief. This incident had already spread throughout the world of One Piece, King of Pirates that day. Although Marine and Tenryubito joined forces to suppress the news and prevent him from spreading it out, there is no such thing as an airtight wall in this world. There are so many people, at most 5 people who can block. Most people do not know who this incident is, and the cause and effect of this incident, but the 4 emperors, Shichibukai, the Revolutionary Army, etc., as long as they are not low-level people everyone knows who it is, and a loner like Juliana can only know that Tenryubito and Marine collectively knelt down to the 5 boys and girls, and they don't know anything about the others. Now I know from Lu Chengkong's mouth that the friend I just made in front of me is actually so big, but I just said that the other side Marine is working. Now it seems that Marine is serving the 2 of them, right? Don't think about it, it's like this. Lu Chengkong saw Juliana's expression and didn't know what she was thinking, and quickly explained the cause and effect of the incident. During this period, Juliana also raised her own questions from time to time. Khalifa also interjected from time to time. Of course, this Loli is more focused on Lu Chengkong, but she doesn't want to care about other things and has no interest in it. After the night, the 3 of them all told their own stories. Although the relationship between Lu Chengkong and Juliana was only established for one night, sometimes when fate came, even if they wanted to stop it, they couldn't stop it. Overnight, the relationship between the 3 of them has gone up in a straight line, almost to the point where they can talk about everything. After waking up the next day, Lu Chengkong was not in a hurry to go back to the Marine headquarters, because the tasks he and Khalifa had done had already been completed. As for Kuro and the head of another pirate, he had already been sent back through the Marine branch base. The top of Marine's headquarters also knows the identity of the 2, and they can only take laissez-faire behavior until the 2 do no harm to Marine, unless the mysterious girl goes to Marine and tells them about these 2 things. This kid has nothing to do with me and explain it clearly, otherwise Marine would definitely not dare to do anything excessive to Lu Chengkong and the 2 of them because he was afraid of the mysterious girl. I plan to be a bounty hunter for a while. Anyway, there is still almost a year before the deadline for entering CP9. This time is when I am working hard for my achievements. I think I will experience the bounty hunter with you during this time. Feel it. Lu Chengkong finally made this decision after discussing with Khalifa after waking up. Anyway, those tasks that enter CP9 are not only accepted by the headquarters. It's not the same when people send them to headquarters. Moreover, Lu Chengkong didn't believe that Sengoku and the others would be so at ease with him. He might be constantly being watched by something researched by the crazy doctor of Marine in the sky. If that's the case, then it doesn't matter if he doesn't go back, and he also believes that as long as it is mysterious if the girl didn't come out to clarify this matter, Marine would definitely not dare to push herself too hard. Okay, anyway, I'm a little bored by myself for so long. I just happen to have the two of you with me. Let's discuss when we have nothing to do, and our strength will improve faster. After knowing that, Juliana not only did not refuse, but was happy to die. When it comes to the last eyes, a strong fighting spirit burst forth. Obviously, she was very dissatisfied with her loss to Lu Chengkong before, and she planned to wash away this shame all the time. 45045 Nico Robin. After making the decision, Lu Chengkong and Khalifa left the island together with Juliana. During this year, Lu Chengkong took on Marine's tasks and became bounty hunters. From the beginning, they could only hunt, killing about 10 million to 15 million pirates. In the end, all the pirates below 30 million were without exception, and everyone encountered by Lu Chengkong and the three had their heads removed. Anyway, now is the peak of the era of the great pirates. Unlike more than 10 years later, the strength of the pirates is getting weaker and weaker compared to this time, so Lu Chengkong does not have to worry about being killed by the pirates that he kills too much. As a result, the strength of the two sides is unbalanced, because every day, even every hour, new pirates go out to sea, and these pirates of no more than 100 million will not have much impact as long as they are not almost killed. Of course, there have been a lot of battles in the past year. Almost every time either Lu Chengkong or Khalifa made a shot, the Rokushiki and fruit abilities of the two of them increased in a straight line, so Juliana on the side complained countless times that she regretted bringing the two, because over the years, she hadn't made a few shots at all, which made her hands very itchy. Fortunately, Lu Chengkong would also discuss with her when they were okay, otherwise she might have left the team and left. After today, we will go back to Marine headquarters to join CP9, how about you? Lu Chengkong asked Gulena, who was sitting next to him in a small town bar called Persian Island in West Blue. For more than a year, Lu Chengkong and Khalifa have developed very advanced. One is just over 8 years old and the other is just over 10 years old. Lu Chengkong already has a height of 168 cm, and Khalifa is not much less than 163 cm. It is worth mentioning it is not only that the two people are developing in advance, but also some aspects, such as their own younger brothers and younger sisters, all started to develop in advance. Khalifa, who was in airport more than a year ago, has begun to take shape at this time. At least it looks like a small steamed bun. He walks with a straight waist, black high-heeled shoes that make a crisp sound when walking, and black underwear. The stocking skirt and hands are wearing black gloves. Although she is not as sexy and charming as the original book when she grew up, her body is sultry, but at this time, she has begun to exude a trace of coquettish charm. I want it. However, Lu Chengkong is much simpler, because he was not very wealthy in his previous life, so he didn't do much research or interest in wearing it. That is to say, he just found some brand name casual clothes to match them, and they looked unrestrained and uninhibited at the same time. Easy to fight at any time. Wow, that's Nico Robin, the devil's son. He's only 13 years old and worth 79 million Baileys. Catch him. Just when Juliana was about to answer Lu Chengkong's words, a voice suddenly came from outside. So one to the sound. Nicole Robin, the mature and intellectually beautiful royal sister in the original book. I've inquired about her over the past year, but unfortunately I haven't found it. I didn't expect that she was delivered to the door by herself before she was about to leave. I don't have the ability to go to her, she is still young now. If I save her at a critical moment, even if I can't capture her heart, I can still gain a certain favor. Lu Chengkong's brain immediately became active after hearing this voice, but on the surface, he still had to pretend to be watching the fun and go out with the two Khalifa girls. You must know that as Khalifa grew up, she knew more and more things. Many times, but it is very powerful to be jealous. Many times Juliana sees Lu Chengkong robbing her opponent, and she deliberately leans against Lu Chengkong or hugs his hand. As a result, Khalifa immediately became jealous. However, Khalifa is a very rational person. Her heart has long been filled with Lu Chengkong. In addition, the two of them have grown up together since childhood, and the battle has almost never been separated. She is very aware of Lu Chengkong's psychology. It's amazing, but it's never too much. Instead, It's more like a flirtation between men and women, and Lu Chengkong also enjoys the small fight with Khalifa. It's really her. Lu Chengkong walked out of the door of the bar and looked in the direction of the voice. Sure enough, a emaciated purple shadow with a cowboy hat appeared in Lu Chengkong's line of sight, and had been wandering for 5 years. The more Nico Robin has a lot less childishness, and she has even learned to see through many social experiences such as conspiracies and tricks. Her strength should not be underestimated, at least those who underestimate her are basically dead. Is she Nico Robin with a bounty of 7,009? She seems to be the same age as Lucci, right? Her strength seems to be average, why is the bounty so high? Gulena looked at Nico Robin's figure a little bit. Said curiously. Because she understands the historical text, she is a thorn in the eyes of the world government. Speaking of which, she is much more miserable than me and Khalifa. She has never enjoyed even a minute of family since she was a child. Her mother, no, a woman like her is not qualified to be someone else's mother at all. Why did the bullshit history leave her to go overseas to find history when she was 2 years old? Since she gave birth to a child, she should not be left behind. With the burden of finding the text of history entrusted to her, it can be said that the person who brought the most misfortune to Robin was none other than her mother. Lu Chengkong said with the same feeling, because he was an orphan in his previous life, so he can understand the feeling of being abandoned best, but he is much luckier than Robin, because Robin knows everything about her mother. And she still knew that she had abandoned herself for the so-called history, and in the end she had to live a life of wandering around and being chased and killed like a mouse crossing the street, so Lu Chengkong was luckier than Nico Robin in this respect. Then have you fallen in love with her? You want to keep her by your side and take good care of this injured flower. Khalifa, who was beside him, was keenly aware of Lu Chengkong's subtle changes, and his heart suddenly tightened. Lu Chengkong left the hand of the arm as more forceful, and the tone is a little sour. Hee, I have this plan. I need the help of this woman, whether it's public or private, but if my Khalifa doesn't like it, then I can only give up this idea. Lu Chengkong hummed Isho, pouting in Khalifa, said in a mocking tone. Khalifa didn't understand that Lu Chengkong was teasing herself, but she was very satisfied with Lu Chengkong's confession. Although she didn't want a woman to steal a man from her, she knew that Lu Chengkong's heart was not something she could keep alone. It's okay, how could she not know Lu Chengkong after living with Lu Chengkong for so long? And as a rational girlfriend, she knows how to make a choice. It can be said that as long as Lu Chengkong likes it, she will do it without hesitation, even if Lu Chengkong has other women. Although she doesn't want to, but it doesn't mean that she will try to make things difficult for her. At most she is jealous, because she knows that no matter how many women Lu Chengkong has in the future, she will occupy the biggest position in Lu Chengkong's heart, because her experience with Lu Chengkong is incomparable to all women. Even Boa Hancock. 46046 First encounter with the future Mr. 1. I'm not as domineering as you think. Since she helps you, how can I stop you? I just want you to remember that I'm the big one. Khalifa said quietly. Her words not only surprised Juliana, even Lu Chengkong, although she knew that Khalifa would not stop her, she did not expect Khalifa to say such a thing. I'm getting more and more jealous of you, to be able to find such a good girlfriend. Juliana said in an envious and jealous tone. This is the tone of my brother. I feel lucky for Sancheng to have such a gentle and considerate girlfriend as Khalifa. Lu Chengkong said sincerely. He was not complimenting, although he came to this one-piece king after the world of pirates. He planned to live a good life in the harem, but he never thought that he would like the new and hate the old, and he never thought that someone could replace Khalifa's position in his heart. Let's go, save her first. Lu Chengkong knew that this was not the time to discuss this topic, so he immediately said, and at the same time took Khalifa to Nico Robin first, so that he was still angry about Khalifa, and wanted to Juliana, who fought against Lu Chengkong's injustice and crusade, lost this opportunity. In the end, this woman could only keep up with Lu Chengkong's pace unhappy. From this, you can see the friendship between them over the past year. But to a very deep level. Do you really want to force me to kill you? I have never offended you. Why do you come to catch me again and again? Nicole Robin thought, very tangled. She is not yet mature and full of intellectual beauty in her 20s in the original book. Although the cruel reality has made her mature and rational at an alarming rate, she is only in her teens after all, and she can't kill her while talking and laughing like she did in the future. Kill some people who have plans for themselves. Renkyaku, Tempest Kick. Just as Nico Robin was struggling to decide whether to take action, a voice as cold as the freezing wind in the Antarctic suddenly sounded, and Nico Robin only felt a flower in front of him. A blue-white vacuum zone flew past her eyes, and when she turned to look, she found that the bounty hunters who were chasing her had all been dismembered. This is the first time that Nicole Robin, who has seen such a bloody scene, turned pale and almost didn't vomit. If she hadn't seen the dead many times, she might have fallen on her knees and vomited, but even so the pale complexion and Vivi's trembling body, which was so thin due to malnutrition, still looked pitiful, making people unable to bear the thought of holding her in his arms and taking good care of her. At least Lu Chengkong, who was present, and Khalifa, who knew about Nico Robin's deeds and the past from Lu Chengkong, had this idea, especially Juliana, who also let go of her daughter and went out to take risks, looked at her with a motherly gaze. The little girl in front of me, Nicole Robin, is not Khalifa. One has been malnourished for a long time since she was a child. The age is younger, but the development is much better than Robin. And Juliana couldn't help walking over and hugged Nicole Robin. Although she didn't deliberately let go of her daughter and left, the reason for leaving was largely to pave the way for her daughter, but she could not deny her no matter what. The fact that she left her daughter, so after knowing about Nico Robin, she saw the shadow of her daughter Kuina in Nico Robin, and even thought she was Kuina in her heart, otherwise she would not do it. Act like this. Ying Ning was originally picked up by a strange woman, which made Nico Robin's delicate body suddenly tense after more than 5 years of dark life, and even when she was about to use her ability to knock this woman away, she touched Gulaina's. The eyes full of motherhood and love were like ice and snow meeting fire, and the whole person softened. I don't know why I told her that the woman in front of her would never hurt her. If it was the past, she would never believe it, because before someone tried use this method to deceive her. But the strange thing is that she actually chooses to believe unconditionally in the face of Juliana, but she is tired. It may be that Juliana's true feelings touched her, or that Juliana's embrace is just like her mother's embrace. Knowing that there might be a trap that will deceive Nicole Robin is also willing. After all, she lacked maternal love since childhood, and suffered a lot of bullying and dark injuries, but she desperately longed for her mother to be by her side, and now Juliana's performance totally more mother to her than her mother was to her. In her mother Olivia's heart, the history text is more important than her daughter. When she finally reunited with her daughter, she also said everything about history. It can be said that her mother's love is too impure. On the contrary, Gulaina is knowing after talking about her affairs and her own experience, she is treated like Kuina. The gap between the two is huge. Come out, I've been with Robin for so long, do you want me to invite you out? Lu Chengkong motioned for Khalifa to take care of Juliana, who was in a very uneasy mood at this time, and said while looking at the corridor to the side. Pop. Originally, I was debating whether to take this convenient bounty, but since you appeared, I am more interested in taking your head. A man in his 20s dressed in a Shaolin monk-style costume walked out. Originally, according to his outfit, it would definitely arouse Lu Chengkong's goodwill. Even if he didn't have good feelings, he would not have any bad feelings. Unfortunately, his intentions for the two of them were destined to become mortal enemies. Daz Bones. Lu Chengkong's eyes narrowed, and he immediately remembered the identity of this person, of course, his identity in the future. Although he is much younger than in the original book, his unique shape still made Lu Chengkong take a look. Remembered him. Oh, you know me. You know it not long after I debuted. It seems that your back is not easy. It's a pity that you are destined to die here today. Daz Bones just glanced at Lu Chengkong and said his own. The name is a little strange, but after the surprise is a cold murderous aura. Obviously he is a killer now. He has not yet joined the Ba Kuro Society, and his strength is not as strong as in the original book, but it should not be underestimated. After all, his strength was far superior to Lu Chengkong's. Juliana was defeated just because of a little bit of love for the enemy. Although luck accounted for a lot of it, it is undeniable that underestimating the enemy will definitely be very miserable. Really, I hope your strength can be as powerful as your mouth. Lu Chengkong knew that he had killed so many pirates in the past few years. Some of the pirates must have some background, so it is normal for the killer to kill himself. So I wasn't at all surprised that someone wanted to kill me. Instead, he acted very calmly and in a masterful style. Compared with Das Bones, both his appearance and style were much better. 47047 Dufufu Mr. 1. I won't let you down. Das Bones is cold to issue. His body moves very fast. Of course, this is for ordinary people, but in front of a powerhouse like Lu Chengkong, who combines speed and strength, it seems a bit slow. Das Bones, killing people, saw that Lu Chengkong was standing in the same place without dodging. To what extent has it become stronger and go all out? Iron. Lu Chengkong's expression did not change, and the people nearby were surprised, standing in the same place under the eyes of astonishment, but just spit out 2 words from his mouth, letting Das Bones' right hand, which had become a knife-like hardness, hit his own voice. When Das Bones was originally very angry when Lu Chengkong didn't hide in the face of his incomparably hard body, but he was more ruthless. Since you are courting death, you can't blame yourself, but when he hit Lu Chengkong with his right hand when he was on his body, he actually found that he seemed to have hit a piece of metal with similar hardness to his own body, and the dull sound of impact spread out immediately. How is it possible? I ate the fruit and my body is as hard as a sword. You are just a mortal body and face my attack. How could there be nothing at all, and how can your body be so hard? Do you also eat hardening physical devil fruit? Das Bones raised his eyes, and his voice was full of surprise and disbelief. In the end, he could only summarize Lu Chengkong's energy into devil fruit. At this time, he has not yet joined the Bakuro Works Club, and he has no idea about the superhuman skills of marine rokushiki. If it is in the future, he will definitely see it. Unfortunately, it is still unknown whether he will have the future after today. After all, Lu Chengkong has always treated the enemy. They are all just to slaughter them, cut the grass and eradicate the roots. It's amazing. Nico Robin let Juliana hug and see the battle between Lu Chengkong and the 2 of them, and sighed involuntarily. After 5 years at sea, she is no longer as ignorant as she used to be, and she also knows herself he ate devil fruit, and now that he heard that Lu Chengkong is also a capable person and that he had saved him just now, he couldn't help but feel a little good about him. Hee, little Robin, this is just the beginning. Now Chengkong is just testing the strength of that Das Bones. The real battle is still to come. The sister next to you. No, it should be the strength of the younger sister, but not worse than that big brother. Gulena said, touching Nico Robin's cute 3-dimensional nose with a little amusing. Don't touch my nose, it will become uglier if you touch it again. Nico Robin said coquettishly. She was stunned when she said this. How many years? She even forgot how long she had not been so relaxed and comfortable. You don't have to worry about being calculated by the other party to say these words, and it is like speaking in a petite girl's tone like now. She seems to have never said it since she was a child. Juliana, who has been holding her, doesn't understand what Robin looks like when she sees her. As a mother, she knows very well what kind of thoughts such a girl would have. If Khalifa didn't have Lu Chengkong, she would also it will become like Nico Robin, or it will become as hateful of pirates as the original, and unscrupulously start killing, almost like a tool of the world government. The ability person. Maybe, but if you're talking about this ability, it's not very true. Shigen finger pistol piercing the heart. Lu Chengkong hee isho, but it is not the usual face of Khalifa and Juliana. That peaceful smile was a sneer, and Lu Chengkong used his own unique rokushiki extension for the first time. Over the past year or so, he has not been in vain. In the constant battles, he has realized that the rokushiki that is best for him is different. Almost all of them are realized in a flash of inspiration in the battle, so these moves are not cultivated, they are all moves made for battle, and the destructive power of each move is astonishing. Boom. Obviously it was just a finger, but the powerful force pushed Daz Bones out of the whole body. His body, which had become stronger as a sword, was forcibly dented by Lu Chengkong's Shigan finger pistol. One more point and his defense will definitely be broken. Your slashing fruit defense is pretty good. Shigan finger pistol didn't bleed in the face of me, but I don't know if you can resist it. Shave in silence. Lu Chengkong was a little surprised and asked, knowing that as long as he used Shigan finger pistol penetration for more than a year, no one could survive, and even those who survived were seriously injured. It's just that this bit of surprise was immediately put away by him, and then he used the shave, and disappeared in place in an instant. But what makes people feel terrible is that the shortcomings of shaving are not shortcomings, but Lu Chengkong has eliminated them, at such a high altitude. There is no sound at all when the frequency is stepped on the ground. It is obviously the result of the past year. It was developed by combining the effect of Kuro's errands and silent movement. Now it seems that the effect is very good. So fast, where are you? Dazbones' pupils shrank, his eyes moving around in a state of beheading people, but he didn't dare to return to his original state. Lu Chengkong's Shigan finger pistol penetration just made him up to now there was still some lingering fears. It was only a little bit. As long as Lu Chengkong exerted a little more force, his defense would be broken. He never thought that Lu Chengkong's small body would have such a huge strength compared to him. It was only after cutting the fruit and his height of more than 2 meters that he had so much power. But Lu Chengkong is only 1.69 meters and looks rather thin. Although his muscles give people a streamlined beauty full of speed, he doesn't think Lu Chengkong is big in terms of strength, so when he shot just now, he wanted to press it. To fight against Lu Chengkong, do not give the opponent speed. It's a pity that he miscalculated. Lu Chengkong is not a pure speed expert. If he didn't learn Rokushiki, he could only simply pursue the truth that speed can't be broken, but now, whether it is speed, strength, skills, defense, dodge, he can do anything. Yes, it is a real all-round comprehensive powerhouse, and of course the most prominent thing is speed. Of course it's behind him, Renkyaku Tempest Kick Raging Dragon. Lu Chengkong's voice suddenly sounded from behind him. When Daz Bones turned around, he was not facing Lu Chengkong, but a huge blue and white dragon. Master Slash. Daz Bones secretly said trouble. Now it seems that Lu Chengkong has not used the ability of Devil Fruit until now, but some powerful physical skills. Obviously, he is also a little knowledgeable, but it is a pity that the speed is not fast as a strong type. He was at a disadvantage from the beginning, and Lu Chengkong could only master the rhythm of the battle, and he could only passively counterattack while looking for opportunities to turn the tables. 48-048 lost to Daz Bones. Chi. I saw that Daz Bones' hands suddenly turned into 2 huge blades at the critical moment, and slashed out at the surging blue and white dragon. A harsh sound suddenly rippling from the collision between the two, Daz Bones stomped on the ground with his feet, like a century-old tree taking root. Break it to me, Daz Bones roared, his whole body concentrated on his hands, and the blue veins appeared on his muscles. With a bang, Daz Bones finally chopped the blue and white dragon in front of him, but it was a pity that he resisted Renkyaku. After Tempest Kick Raging Dragon, Lu Chengkong's attack came again. Obviously, he had planned to suppress Lu Chengkong with a single gesture, but now he was stubbornly suppressed by Lu Chengkong. It's been a tough fight. That's your strength. If that's the case, then I'm so disappointed. Shigan finger pistol boom. Lu Chengkong also came behind Daz Bones, but Daz Bones couldn't stop it. Obviously the rhythm of the battle has been completely mastered by Lu Chengkong. Hiss. The terrifying temperature burned from Lu Chengkong's index finger. Although it was just a flame, the temperature emanating from it made Daz Bones' whole body tense. Why? It is very simple that what he is cutting fruit, and what he has turned into is a metal-like sword material, so what will happen to the high-temperature flame? Of course it melted. Flutter. Daz Bones' body was rippling with a clear voice like inserting a finger into the water at high speed. The body that could barely resist Shigen's finger pistol attack was pierced by a dick, and bright red blood continued to flow out of it. In this way, the wound actually turned fiery red, followed by charred black, and even a little burnt smell could be smelled in the air. Obviously, his wound was burning in Lu Chengkong's Shigen finger pistol moving at a high speed and rubbing the flames that burned in the air. The bottom has been burned. Ahem, you can't go away, you can't go away. Dazbone's face was a little pale, but as a killer, his will was still very tough, and he saw Lu Chengkong's left hand stubbornly grabbing Lu Chengkong's hand and sticking it in his outstretched hand. His right hand and right wrist turned into a blade-like shape, and they slashed towards Lu Chengkong by rotating at a high speed. Stupid, iron nugget, Tai Chi. Lu Chengkong didn't worry at all, and didn't force Dazbones to grab his left hand. Instead, his tone was full of ridicule, and then he did not blink under Dazbones' unbelievable gaze. He stood in place without hiding and let his high-speed rotating blade slashed at him, but unfortunately the expected blood spurt and screams did not appear at all. What he couldn't believe was not that Lu Chengkong could safely resist his own trick, but that he found that his spiral blade had hit Lu Chengkong's body, and it felt like hitting cotton but also hitting steel. The two extreme feelings made him very contradictory, and he almost spit out a mouthful of blood. Tai Chi is worthy of being the national quintessence that has been passed down in China for countless years. I only know a little bit of fur and understand it, and it has such an effect. If it is a real Tai Chi master such as Zhang Sanfang, it will not be more scary. Lu Chengkong felt a little bit. Thinking of it as a joke, it's a pity that he didn't know that he was completely wrong when he thought this way. After all, everyone has their own specialties. He has little knowledge of Tai Chi, but after more than a year of constant fighting, he has completely integrated the iron block and the unloading force. If the comparison is purely based on the unloading force, Lu Chengkong, even if it is compared with the Tai Chi masters in China, there is not necessarily any difference. After all, this is condensed in the battle of blood and fire, not simply. And Tai Chi is not purely based on unloading. There are many powerful advantages and abilities that only need to be cultivated to a high level, such as 4 or 2 strokes of 1,000 pounds and a cannon hammer above it. I won't explain it in detail here. If you need to know, just go to the Dragon and Snake Romance of the Dreaming Machine. Goodbye, Dazbones, Renkyaku Tempest Kick Burst. Many people think that the power of Shigen finger pistol in Rokushiki's attack skills is greater than that of Renkyaku Tempest Kick, but it's not, but both have their own advantages. The most powerful part of Shigen finger pistol is that he concentrates the energy and blood of the whole body to a point and explodes instantly, and the penetrating power is very amazing. However, Renkyaku Tempest Kick is a long-range attack. After a certain distance, the power of the kick on the enemy will be weakened, but what if the distance is the same as using Shigen finger pistol? Then the destructive power of Renkyaku Tempest Kick is not comparable to Shigen finger pistol, let alone Lu Chengkong's even more powerful Renkyaku Tempest Kick Burst. Bang! You can tell by the name, the vacuum slash kicked by Renkyaku Tempest Kick is compressed into a single point, and it explodes like a bomb when it touches the opponent's body. The huge explosive force immediately broke the defense of Dazbones' killing state, and the residual power exploded in his body, causing a huge wound to explode on his upper body, and blood spurted out as if he didn't want money. The strength of his strength also knocked him out. With his injuries and the house behind him, he would be dead in a short time. Unfortunately, life is often full of changes and variables. Lu Chengkong's life is so does Dazbones'. Just as Dazbones was about to be installed on the house at the back, a gust of wind blew, along with a small amount of sand, forcing the people around them to close their eyes because of the sand, and when they opened their eyes again it turns out that Dazbones didn't knock down the house, but didn't even know where he went. In the original book, it was said that Dazbones was originally a famous killer in West Blue, and then he became the Mr. One of the Bakuro Society for some unknown reason. Could it be because he was seriously injured and almost died because he was beaten by me? In the end, Crocodile rescued him, and as a result he died. Grateful Date, even though Crocodile just used him as a tool but he didn't betray him, this is too bloody right. Is it because of me that Mr. One appeared? Others don't know who rescued Daz Bones, but he is very clear. He knows it is Shichibukai crocodile with a little sand on the ground. As for why this guy didn't solve Lu Chengkong easily or win over the stronger Lu Chengkong, it's very simple. How did he come to be Shichibukai? Said to be marine people, Sengoku and the others were worried that if those guys from Shichibukai didn't have long eyes to kill Lu Chengkong, then he would not be able to explain it, so he told everyone in Shichibukai about Lu Chengkong, and at the same time marked it. The label of not to be provoked. Of course, this is temporary, and I will not know it in the future. Sengoku, you never thought that the mysterious girl you were worried about wouldn't bother Marine for me at all. Your arrangement has helped me a lot, at least it won't make me appear so easily on the road to becoming stronger. Being bullied by others makes it easy to die. Although Lu Chengkong saw the process of crocodile saving Daz Bones, he did not block it. It was very simple. Although he knew the opponent's weaknesses, he didn't think he belonged to him. As an opponent, he didn't think he had Luffy's terrific constitution and luck. 49:049 Teaching Robin. Since the other party didn't deal with him unknowingly, it was obviously to give Sengoku face, and he was also worried about being retaliated by others, so he was still weak and there was no need to be someone who could not hurt himself now, and would be even less capable of hurting himself in the future. Do the right thing with someone who is much stronger than you now, and treat it as someone else giving you face, and you should give face to others too. I want it. After all, he is very clear that he has no strong protection, and now he is still in a weak position. It was very difficult to face Logia before he learned hockey, and now he is still young, only 8 years old, and sometimes he will become stronger with time. Stronger, if Daz Bones doesn't know how to find himself, then he doesn't mind taking crocodile easily. Someone rescued him. Khalifa immediately came to Lu Chengkong's side. Although she also saw that Lu Chengkong was not injured just now, her face was still full of worry, and she looked up and down carefully at Lu Chengkong to make sure he didn't. Only after a few scars did he feel relieved, and at the same time he stretched out his hand to smooth Lu Chengkong's clothes that were a little wrinkled because of the battle just now. His gentle and skillful appearance made the people nearby drool. The strength may be that some people with ulterior motives have come up to grab people. Nicole Robin, do you want to find the historical text? Lu Chengkong waved his hand to tell Khalifa to stop talking. Carly nodded knowingly and didn't say anything, so the two he walked to Nico Robin and said to this delicious loli. I'm right, I'm looking for the historical text. I saw Lu Chengkong's formidable strength just now, but now Lu Chengkong's piercing gaze is staring at his own eyes, making Nico Robin suddenly a little reddish quietly. The body was a little scared and arched into Juliana's arms, but after hearing Lu Chengkong's words, she immediately remembered everything about O'Hara Island and her mother. Her eyes suddenly turned red, although she was a little timid, but in the end she still said with courage. Then do you know how much it will cost you to find this? Lu Chengkong was ignoring the hen who was watching him, like a hen guarding the chicks. If you scare Robin, I'll have a fight with you. Nico Robin immediately fell silent when she heard Lu Chengkong's words. She is not a fool. The performance in the original work shows that she is very good at archaeology, work, communication, games, analysis, and painting. It's amazing, although it is not as heavy and calm as the later generations, but the light of wisdom has appeared in her eyes at a young age, so she knows very well what Lu Chengkong means. If nothing else, the shadow that Buster Call brought her when she was a child has not dissipated. In the original book, she still managed to overcome the incomplete version of Buster Call without the existence of Admiral and high-end combat power. Only then did she barely eliminate the fear of Buster Call. To find the historical text means to fight against Marine. The more you know, the more powerful the Buster Call will be. Even if she is young now, she knows this. You are living by betrayal now. If you are like a mouse in the street, you want to find the historical text like this. It's not me who hit you, Khalifa and I are also a member of the Marine. If I want to catch you, you think you are, can you escape? Lu Chengkong deliberately pretended to be cold, but it was a pity that Nico Robin's IQ had already understood Lu Chengkong's intentions in a short period of time, so she knew that the man in front of her was not hurting her. Of course she wouldn't be afraid. Then what can I do? In Nico Robin's original novel, she found her own way after wandering for many years. It can be said that she has always been able to rely on different forces to help herself, not because she did not want to rely on her own efforts to find it. But she knew that her strength alone could not resist Marine, so she could only rely on one force after another to struggle to survive. Now that she has Lu Chengkong's guidance, she can of course avoid many unnecessary wrong paths, and she can use the most correct and possible method to find the historical text, so she hurriedly asked. The first one is to become stronger. Don't think that you are not good before you start, that you can't beat Marine, and that you can't beat the Buster Call that destroyed O'Hara Island. If you think like this, you are inferior to others. Why can others be strong? Can't you? You've already eaten devil fruit, so why not try to maximize the power of devil fruit? Lu Chengkong thought for a moment and then said simply, he knows very well that Robin's aptitude is very good, and Huahuaguo's ability is also very scary if he wants to assassinate. If he learns hockey, plus physical training, then Robin's strength is definitely not weak. Can I really become stronger? Nicole Robin has never thought about this question. She has seen the horror of Kuzan who ate the Logia fruit, so she doesn't think she can beat those strong people, although now in the original book, her devil fruit ability is also much stronger in the later stage, but she has not really cultivated to become stronger at all. It is only with the increase of the number of uses that the power will increase, but she is definitely not like Lu Chengkong and Khalifa. Do your best to exercise your fruit ability. Why not? Everyone says that Logia is the most powerful of the three fruits, but what? Which of the four emperors is Logia? There are no rubbish devil fruits, only rubbish users. This sentence is not entirely true, but it is also true. Not all wrong, think about it for yourself. The reality in this world, how many people do you think can treat you as her own daughter at the first sight like Gulena and won't tie you to Marine? Without equal strength, even if you find a partner who is willing to give your life for you, can you protect them? At most they died because of you. Well, that's all. Khalifa and I are leaving, so you stay with Gulena. After Lu Chengkong finished speaking, he left with Khalifa. As for whether Nico Robin and Juliana would be in danger together, Lu Chengkong didn't have to worry at all. You must know that it is not only yourself who will improve, Juliana is also the same. After being able to break the shadow of her state of mind, Juliana's kendo path can be described as a smooth one, but everything before has become a setback to fulfill her swordsmanship. And in the original book, Nico Robin can live for so long without dying. Is it too funny? When she was a child, her strength was weak and pitiful. In this era, 79 million is very scary, but it is not that there will be hundreds of millions after more than 10 years. Even if she encounters 79 million pirates, her strength is so weak. Even a big pirate can't help but catch it, and so do some of the Marines, so Nico Robin can live to the original book is so cool, you can see her without going to prison or even being caught in Marine. There is someone operating behind it. Then there is so much energy that the strong men of Pirate Marine will not catch Nico Robin, and there is only one person who knows Nico Robin and her relationship, Kuzan, that is Admiral Kuzan, and only him because the reason for Saren is to help let Nico Robin go many times, and he is indeed a person who is cold outside and hot inside. 50,050 Kick Jabra. Enies Lobby ENIESLOBBY, also known as the island that never sleeps, is set up for the world government. It is full of nominal courts. As long as those who are brought to Enies Lobby must have been identified as prisoners, at this time, the Justice Tower of Enies Lobby is inside. The usually very deserted conference hall was full of people at this time. Among them are all the characters that appeared in the original work. Among them, Spandam and Spandane, who are hideous, despicable and afraid of death, are sitting on the desk at the same time and looking at the two young people in front of them. Rob Lucci, Kaku, Jabra, Bluno, Kumadori, Otanashi Fukuro. They have been with the Lizard Man for a while, and they have also experienced a lot of killings in the completion of the task, especially Rob Lucci is the best among them, so the resentment in their hearts has been vented a lot, plus the reason of the world government, so they didn't kill the two people in front of them who were ants to them, but it was completely impossible for them to order them at that time, but because of the world government, they could only ignore the policy. Bastard, what are the two people who are late for CP9? As the CP9 chief, I have the right to judge them. Today's Spandam officially became the CP9 chief under the leadership of his father, although the top 6 face-to-face he is a powerful man with awe-inspiring killing intent, but with his father, Spandane as his backer, Spandam is also a little bit arrogant. Although he is very idiot, he also knows that there are 3 fires when a new official takes office. When he established his majestic reputation, he found out that 2 people were late. Isn't this a sleepy delivery of pillows? So this guy who didn't know the situation showed his official prestige. Of course, this official prestige was imagined in his own mind, at least the people present didn't feel it. Poor guy. Hearing what Spandam said, Kaku, who was standing in the hall, thought disdainfully. At the same time, he couldn't help feeling sad for him. Of course, he was more fortunate. At least there was this idiot. Even if Khalifa and Lu Chengkong came, he wouldn't be harassing him, and he could get out of the clutches of Lu Chengkong and Khalifa. Sure enough, you are bold enough. Although I don't know how strong you are, it is definitely not easy to complete Rokushiki's strength so much earlier than us, and it is indeed enough to dare to be late at this time. Jabra, who has become a wolf-type person, thought to himself. Boom. Just when Spandam was about to say something, the closed door of the conference room suddenly opened, and for a while, whether it was the newly added CP9 and others, or the former and current officers Spandam, they were all in the room. He looked at the person who opened the door. What catches the eye is a man and a woman. The man is handsome, with sword eyebrows and star eyes. The woman wears black sexy clothes, with an oval face, willow eyebrows, cherry mouth, red phoenix eyes, and a small chong nose. The figure gives a strong visual impact, and every move has an amazing charm. At least there are young people with vigor and vitality. Rob Lucci and others who know who they are coming to know are very smart and do not show their satyr appearance, but there are 3 people who don't know the details, but they look like pig brothers, especially Spandane father and son. Of course, one of them is Jabra, who will become a wolf in the future. Today is the first time, for the sake of you who don't know me, I will spare you not to die, but the death penalty can be avoided, and the life penalty is inevitable. I hate the woman who sees me in this way. Renkyaku, Tempest Kick. Lu Chengkong's eyes froze, his right foot suddenly kicked out, the air in front of him suddenly thickened, Vivi twisted up, and a huge blue-white vacuum slash appeared in front of Lu Chengkong's body and shot towards Spandane and Jabra. As for Rob Lucci and others, they hid to the side when Lu Chengkong appeared, and it turned out that their choice was extremely correct. Help. Facing death, Spandam and Spandane, the despicable father and son, could only lay their heads on the ground and shout for help in horror. As for the fact that he had never seen Lu Chengkong, Jabra, who was very unwilling to admit defeat, immediately burst out with strong fighting intent, and also used Rokushiki to face the vacuum slash that came to him. Renkyaku, Tempest Kick. 2 vacuum slashes, one large and one small, collided from midair. Of course, the small one was pulled by Jabra. The vacuum slash kicked out by this good boy who dared to resist was deadlocked with Lu Chengkong's vacuum slash for a while. It was shattered, and the remaining power flew towards him unabated. HMPH, Iron. Seeing how vulnerable his Renkyaku Tempest Kick was, Jabra's eyes shrank rapidly, but the battle had already begun, and at this time he could only resist and resist, so he immediately used his best. The iron block he was good at resisted the weakened vacuum slash, but even such a powerful impact would push him 3 or 4 meters away, just in time to collide with the father and son of Spandam. Jabra, who remained in the state of iron, was no less than a piece of human-shaped steel, and slammed into the father and son of Spandam with the support of a huge impact force. Of course, the strength of 9 can only scream. You bastard, you dare to be arrogant, and you dare to be presumptuous in the face of the former and current CP9 chiefs, and be late. The two father and son Spandaean, who only stood up after a few minutes, roared and planned to ask the teacher to ask the guilt. Lu Chenggong is not giving them this opportunity. I don't think the top Marines will blame me and Khalifa because of the two of you, and although you are the former and current officers of CP9, please open your dog eyes to see who is listening in CP9. Your words. Lu Chenggong snorted coldly. Although Spandam's copy is unscrupulous, despicable, arrogant, selfish, greedy, hypocritical, insidious, twisted, and perverted, but they can reach high levels, but they are very good at flattering and observing their words, and even if they are usually idiots, when life is threatened, people become very smart. At least the two father and son in front of them are the best example. When the two raised their heads, they found that CP9 was present, whether it was Rob Lucci and others who knew Lu Chenggong early in the morning, Kumadori who didn't know Lu Chenggong, or even Jabra who was annoyed by Lu Chenggong's kick. Looking at the two of them with disdain and mocking eyes, he also noticed that Rob Lucci and the others had already stood by Lu Chenggong's side at some point. Obviously, their intentions were obvious. No matter how stupid the two of them were, they knew they were there. People simply looked down on the two of them from the bottom of their hearts and didn't take them seriously. How did the two of them get angry like this? Especially Spandane, who used to hold Buster Call, but no one dared to treat him like this. This is what he thinks. The previous CP9 chose to ignore him, but he doesn't know it. Now I see a little devil who is only 8 years old according to the information. How dare he treat him like that? And he is so angry that one Buddha was born and 2 Buddhas ascended to the sky, but it is a pity that his anger was flown by his side before he could express his anger. The two halves were separated, and the vacuum slash, which blasted a huge crack on the wall behind them, was completely eliminated. Everyone, do your best. Flowers, collections, and rewards should be more violent. 51051 Let's go together. If the two of you want to die, I don't mind fulfilling you. CP9 has always been a leader. What we need here is only the strong of CP9, not you useless. Wouldn't mind having another person be the prefect. When Lu Chenggong spoke, he didn't even look at the two of them. If Nicole Robin hadn't sent these two people who were not as good as trash, and Khalifa had been very generous before, Lu Chenggong was in a very good mood. In addition, it is very close to Marine's headquarters after all. As long as I don't go too far, Marine will choose to ignore it before the mysterious girl comes out to clarify, and even if there is no mysterious girl, Lu Chenggong's combat power plus he gets so much CP9. The support of the people, Marine headquarters will definitely not give up Lu Chenggong and others for this pair of weak and deadly useless waste materials. At this moment, under Lu Chenggong's strength, the two Spandam father and son, who had recognized the reality clearly, didn't dare to let go of Lu Chenggong's cold words. How could they dare to be arrogant when the situation was stronger than others? After finishing speaking, Lu Chenggong took Khalifa and left the conference hall directly. As for Rob Lucci and others, they were also very satisfied with Lu Chenggong's performance. That is, only Lu Chenggong's strength and daring talent were worthy of being theirs. Captain, anyone who has read the original book knows that CP9 is ruthless to outsiders, but for their own sake, they can definitely give up their dignity. In the original book, everyone can give up their dignity in order to collect medical expenses for Rob Lucci. You can watch it on the street. Out. When he walked out of the conference hall and came to the square below, Jabra immediately stopped Lu Chenggong. Lu Chenggong also stopped and looked at Jabra, indicating that he would say anything. Although I know I'm not your opponent, I'm going to fight with you. If you win, then you'll be my boss. How about that? Jabra's voice fell. Even if he was the most heartless, he liked it the most. Kumadori, who committed suicide, also looked at Lu Chenggong with his eyes burning with the flame of war. Obviously, although Lu Chenggong completed Rokushiki's graduation in just over a month, it did not mean that they would admit defeat so easily. I want it. They are all elites in each region, and it is impossible to be young and arrogant without arrogance, so even if Lu Chenggong's performance just now made them very satisfied, if they can't really defeat them, their hearts will not be completely acknowledging Lu Chenggong. Lucci, You guys think so too. Lu Chengkong didn't get angry, didn't answer Jabra directly, but asked Rob Lucci and others. Indeed, although I was defeated by you twice in the past, your strength was indeed worse than mine at that time. You were able to win because you understood the half-finished shave by yourself at that time. Even if Jabra didn't say anything, I would look for it. You have a fight. Rob Lucci nodded, the fighting spirit bursting out of his eyes was no less than that of Jabra, or even worse, but he was the strongest CP9 in the original book for 800 years. Okay, then let's go together. Lu Chengkong's words immediately surprised them. Although the power of Lu Chengkong's Renkyaku Tempest Kick just now surprised them, they definitely wouldn't think that Lu Chengkong could fight with one hit. All of them, even 1-on-2, didn't think Lu Chengkong could win. You are insulting me. Rob Lucci's voice was a little cold, and his tone was a little annoyed. If it was someone else, he would have killed him long ago. Really? In that case, let's go one-on-one with Lucci. You should be the strongest among them, so that you can see whether I have insulted you or whether you are qualified to fight me one-on-one. Lu Chengkong also knew that his words were useless, so let Rob Lucci, the strongest among them, fight him first. Okay. The anger on Rob Lucci's face immediately subsided when he heard the words, and at the same time he was more cautious. He knew very well that Lu Chengkong was not the kind of arrogant person. Since he dared to let go of such arrogant words, he definitely had him. The capital, but even so, Rob Lucci does not believe that Lu Chengkong can defeat everyone here alone, with the exception of Khalifa of course. Come on. Lu Chengkong took off his black leather jacket. Khalifa on the side immediately showed his duty as a girlfriend, just said don't get hurt and helped Lu Chengkong get the jacket and walked aside. Khalifa's the performance immediately caused the men present to look at Lu Chengkong with jealous eyes. If they had kaleidoscope writing wheel eyes, they might have killed Lu Chengkong just by looking. Shave. Shigen finger pistol. Rob Lucci is always direct. Without saying a word, he immediately shot, stepped on the ground more than 10 times in an instant. His body disappeared in Yuan and then appeared in front of Lu Chengkong, hitting Shigen finger pistol with terrifying penetrating power to Lu Chengkong's chest. Just plug it in. The speed is good, but the strength is a little worse. Iron Nugget Tai Chi. Lu Chengkong was not nervous in the face of Lucci's powerful Shigen finger pistol. On the contrary, he still stood on the spot to evaluate Rob Lucci's performance in a leisurely manner. Flutter. How is that possible? The pupils of the people present except Khalifa shrank rapidly, and each of them knew how to use iron. They all thought that Lu Chengkong was using iron when he didn't hide, but in fact Lu Chengkong also used iron. But the collision between the iron block and Shigen finger pistol is absolutely impossible to make such a crashing sound. You will die if you are distracted during battle. Shigen finger pistol piercing the heart. Lu Chengkong sighed inwardly as he looked at Rob Lucci, who was surprised. Terrible Rob Lucci, who completely disregarded all of Luffy's moves and was easily dismissed at the same time, has a long way to go. Oops, Iron Nugget. Rob Lucci was also a Superman who learned Rokushiki after all. At the critical moment, his body instinctively used Iron Nugget, but the difference between him and Lu Chengkong was reflected in this moment, and only Lu Chengkong was seen. His index finger was like a blocking bullet, completely ignoring Lucci. The iron block like a bulletproof vest penetrated directly into his body, and the powerful force knocked him out. Renkyaku Tempest Kick Flurry. Lu Chengkong's expression did not change, as if it was not his friend who was injured by him. Instead he directly added a blow to Renkyaku Tempest Kick, and countless small vacuum slashes flew towards Rob Lucci. In fact, Lu Chengkong has already left, otherwise Rob Lucci would have already died under Lu Chengkong's Shigen finger pistol Chuenshin, which means that Chuenshin hit the heart, of course, but although Lu Chengkong pierced Rob Lucci's the body shed a, but Lu Chengkong still chose to play. And it was not a fatal position. With Rob Lucci's strength and physical treatment, he could recover in a week. The brothers who said that the update is unstoppable and slow, I will give you an explanation here. The new book's grades are not good, and the old book recommendation is frightened. The editor said that if the new book's grades don't improve, then I will also be frightened. Hey, this is the first time I have been told by an editor, let's stand up with your strength, stand up, my motivation has come, and the speed will also increase. Now I work 8 hours a day, and I have to code when I come back. It's really hard. If I don't have the motivation, I really can't pick up the keyboard to code. Now I still check 3 times a day, but if my grades don't go up, I'm worried about my support. I can't go on anymore. Please do your best, and understand that the overwhelming force is overwhelming. After returning from the 8-hour work, I am really tired every day. If you stand up, then the tiredness is worth it, but now I find that more and more are superfluous. 52052 Deserved Boss. Cami E. I want the full text. Rob Lucci's face changed greatly, and a bitter smile hung on the corner of his mouth. He knew that he had been defeated just now. If it was a life and death battle, he would even be dead, so he was using Cami E. He also stopped after escaping the Renkyaku Tempest Kick flurry like a piece of paper being blown by the wind. Although he was very uncomfortable and couldn't believe it, he was not as obvious as those so-called geniuses. Ken admits. I lost. Rob Lucci's face was very ugly. When Lu Chengkong came to the base behind Marine headquarters 2 years ago, his strength was far behind him. To win him twice was entirely due to Rob Lucci's lack of actual combat experience. There is also the advantage of moves, but now after 2 years of training and becoming Rokushiki, Rob Lucci is confident that he can definitely defeat Lu Chengkong, but he did not expect that Lu Chengkong not only surpassed him in overall strength and body, but even Rokushiki was far away. Far ahead of him. Do you still want to duel with me now? Lu Chengkong glanced at Rob Lucci with admiration. In the original book, Rob Lucci was undefeated before he met Luffy. Now he has been defeated by himself 3 times. This time, he defeated him with an overwhelming advantage. It is definitely a good thing for his future development, and he believes that Rob Lucci is not so easy to be knocked down. As long as he walks out of the shadow of failure, then his future strength definitely better than the original. No need. Jabra, Kaku and the others did not expect that Rob Lucci, the most powerful among them, would be defeated all at once when Lu Chengkong deliberately kept his hand, especially Jabra, who was a big one. He was hit and looked at Lu Chengkong at the same time with the eyes of a monster. You must know that the oldest person in CP9 is his Kumadori, while Lu Chengkong and Kaku are the youngest in CP9, but they have the shortest training time now. Lu Chengkong's strength was completely superior to them. How could he not suffer a huge blow? I lost this time, and I was convinced by the loss, but this time, I will never lose again when I look for you again in the future. Rob Lucci did not disappoint Lu Chengkong. After a while, his expression changed. His face said solemnly, I'll wait for you. I hope you won't let me down, but don't forget that you're not the only one who will become stronger. Lu Chengkong did not comfort Rob Lucci, but said very strongly, Rob Lucci is the kind of frustrated the braver person. He doesn't need extra comfort, he doesn't need pity, he just needs encouragement. After this battle, I have taken the position of the boss of CP9, but now Rob Lucci, Jabra and others have not eaten devil fruit, and Rokushiki has also integrated into the battle. That is more than 100. I should have more than 200 or even more than 300 now. It is a matter of course to defeat them. Because of my own reasons, the strength of CP9 is believed to be many times stronger than the original. I really look forward to it. Quote. When Lu Chengkong thought of this, he couldn't help but look forward to the future. Since Nico Robin was met by himself, how could he let her go to Crocodile? As for how he translated those historical texts, it was none of his business. Something happened. So without Nico Robin joining the Straw Hat Pirates, will the Enies lobby fight still begin? He was very curious about these things. However, no matter what you think or look forward to, it is useless to be curious. The most important thing now is to send Lucci to the hospital. Although these injuries can be cured with a single interest in Rob Lucci's body, it is best to deal with them, otherwise they will be infected by bacteria. It's not good. Rob Lucci has not yet realized the return of life. You must know that even what Rob Lucci in the original book realized is not the complete return of life. Because Lu Chengkong knew from listening to the glamorous queen's tone that the ability to return life could never be as simple as it appeared in the original work, so Lu Chengkong boldly guessed that CP9 who would return life in the original work had comprehended incomplete life. Return, or they haven't realized the real return of life, haven't learned everything, or their level of return of life is too low, and they can't reach the level that the beauty queen said. After Annie's lobby, doctor took care of Rob Lucci's wound. Lu Chengkong and others finally understood after being introduced by people familiar with the life of CP9 Nissan. It turns out that life in CP9 is relatively free, as long as it is not specially arranged by the world government. Usually they can move freely, and they can even choose their own tasks from some freely handed over tasks assigned by the world government, and earn merits while improving their strength. Rob Lucci, Jabra, and others got those devil fruits with their own hands like Lu Chengkong's conspiracy at the beginning, almost fighting for his life to get the devil fruits. Of course, Lu Chengkong can get the devil fruit is also luck. After all, not every ship with Tenryubito's entourage has devil fruit, but even so, Lu Chengkong was still alive and dead, and he was shot a few times in the end. Compared to Luffy, Luffy was much luckier. In order to make Marine stronger and make more people work harder for the world government to serve the world government has developed this merit system for CP9 people. There are those who have changed their names, and those who have changed their fighting skills. There are even all kinds of devil fruits. Of course, Logia is almost non-existent, because the Marine who ate Logia in the Marine was specially trained to become the next admiral, so the executives in the Marine think that Logia is the strongest. Then it is a matter of course that the Marines who have eaten Logia are very precious. How could they be allowed to die so easily? It's really scary to put these things outside. The world government is indeed a behemoth. Although you have occupied many countries in the original Revolutionary Bureau, your background is really poor. It is far worse than the world government and Tenryubito. The hidden strength there are countless more, and the three admirals may all be just obvious powerhouses. Quote. Lu Chengkong looked at the order in his hand. Different devil fruits were marked with different amounts of merit. In it, he also found the fruit abilities of Rob Lucci, Jabra, Bluno and others in the original book, and even Khalifa and Kaku. All in the original. Lu Chengkong even guessed that Kaku and Khalifa didn't eat the fruit when they went to the water capital in the original book because they were worried that something unexpected would happen and they wouldn't be able to survive at sea, so the two of them didn't eat it. Only Bluno had a very good escape ability. The powerful Door fruit and the most powerful Lucci ate the cat and cat fruit. One is to escape with Bluno's Door fruit in order to encounter an irresistible situation, and the other is to maximize Lucci's fighting power to deal with various powerhouses. It can be said that the candidates for the tasks arranged by the world government have been reviewed many times. It seems that it is not so easy to fight against the world government. If you become a mortal enemy with them, you must have the strength to fight against it and at least protect yourself. Lu Chengkong was constantly planning his own plans and affairs in the future, and at the same time he kept thinking about what he should do next, how to choose, but he knew very well that he had no luck against the Skyer Strong backstage. What's the meaning? 53053 Even the daughter is not spared. In urgent need of support, asking for collections, flowers, and rewarding everyone's support is equal to the motivation for updating. With Lu Chengkong's incomparably powerful shock before, even if Spandam, Spandane and the headquarters marshal reacted, it would be useless. First, Lu Chengkong's deliberately created false identity played a role, and second, because of anyone's CP9. Combat power is very important, and Lu Chengkong and Khalifa are also members of CP9 and Marine, and Lu Chengkong is so popular with CP9, if he blames all CP9s for the two wastes, then Sengoku will not be able to be at all. Take the position of marshal. These days, in addition to exercising every day and developing devil fruit abilities, Lu Chengkong is familiar with the life of CP9. At the same time, he has also browsed through all the items exchanged for merits in CP9 in detail and found that he doesn't seem to need anything. Khalifa, what do you think our money will be used for? Over the past year or so, we have made almost 200 million Baileys. If we don't use it, isn't it too wasteful? Lu Chengkong lay on the big bed and asked Khalifa, who was lying in his arms and drawing circles on his chest, said. Since we have to leave Marine sooner or later, what we need most to sail this sea is a ship, and to fight against Marine's ships, this ship must need a lot of arrangements, and these all require a lot of money. As for the people on the boat, they will think about it later. A good boat alone will cost hundreds of millions. This is still raw material. The precious tree, Adam, is priceless. Khalifa is worthy of being the best internal helper. In order to let Lu Chengkong worry less, she has learned about all aspects of things, and immediately solved the problems for Lu Chengkong. If it's Marine's core shipbuilding skills, there's absolutely nothing to say, but I absolutely can't trust them, and suddenly we want to build a ship. Didn't I tell them that we would leave CP9 at any time? Lu Chengkong said, a little distressed, but his hands were no idle time, fumbled up and down on Khalifa's suit. Although the body of the 8-year-old has developed to the point where only a 15 or 6-year-old boy can only have, the problem is only the height. The brothers under the crotch have not yet begun to develop their final development. Although the length and width are now available, the largest the problem is that he still can't. After all, he is only 8 years old now, and the foundation has been laid in some places, but the most crucial step is missing, so now he can only get by. The City of Water. There is a document that said the City of Water. Although the shipbuilder of One Piece, King of Pirates, died, his 2 apprentices are still there, and they both help build ships. As long as we buy them, Baoshu, Adam, will definitely impress them. Khalifa felt that her souchong was covered by Lu Chengkong's big hands, and kept kneading it. Although it was very numb and comfortable, she was still a baby after all. It was the first time she faced this kind of thing. Of course she felt ashamed, but she didn't refuse. As long as Lu Chengkong liked it, she didn't care, and this kind of thing was normal for men and women who were in love. Although she was shy, she didn't resist. Then this matter has to be carried out in secret. I thought it was a lot of money, but now it seems that just buying materials is not enough. Lu Chengkong, who was still having a headache just now about how to spend the money, is now worried about the money, but he is not worried either. How long is it to think of one person, Kaya's father, Kapal? This guy has grown richer and richer over the past year. Before he died, the defense measures in their home were still very high. As a businessman, the amount of money handed over to the world government every month is too much. This kind of machine that prints Bailey, even if he wants to die, the world government will not let him die so easily, and when he died unexpectedly, the protection of the world government to their home will be gone. So in the original Kuro as in before Kapal died, he didn't dare to disguise the housekeeper and mess around. When he died, he stretched his hideous fangs towards Kaya. Such a good printing Bailey machine is too wasteful to not save him. As for the disease, let Khalifa give him a holy light. That is, when it works properly, not only can he get the support of Kapal, but also get a delicious loli. I'm really smart. Lu Chengkong couldn't help evoking a wide smile when he thought of this, which made Khalifa's heart tighten, and the woman's super-sensitive intuition told her that Lu Chengkong at this time absolutely wanted to some bad things. Thinking of this, Khalifa suddenly became a little angry. While chatting with himself, he touched his body and remembered his affairs. Because he was still here to calculate so many things for him, Khalifa couldn't help biting Lu Chengkong's chest. It was a pity that at the moment she just took the bite, she couldn't bear to bite down, worried that the bite would hurt Lu Chengkong, but in the end it turned into a kiss with a little bit of force, which didn't do anything except make Lu Chengkong more comfortable. Useful, a woman's heart is really unpredictable. A woman's intuition is indeed the most sensitive. I just think about him and he can find it, but Khalifa seems to really love me, or she would bite down the bite just now. Although she will be jealous, she will definitely not make trouble without reason. As expected of my grandmother. Lu Chengkong thought to himself, and at the same time gently kissed Khalifa's little mouth. Khalifa seemed to feel Lu Chengkong's thoughts, and the corners of her mouth twitched up. Obviously her mood changed. Worry is joy. Then what we have to do now is to save money. Then this is simple, I have already thought about it. Lu Qingkong said all his thoughts just now. Of course, the delicious loli did not hide it. After all, based on Khalifa's current status in CP9, it's too easy to find out. Since it's unnecessary to hide it, and Khalifa's generosity in the past has already made Lu Qingkong appoint her as his eldest wife and also his first. The most important and indispensable person in life. Oh, it's no wonder that that you laughed so hard just now is like this. Not only are you trying to beat people's worth, but you don't even let their daughters go. You are really amazing, Khalifa said suddenly. His tone was full of sourness. A pair of he tightly lifted Lu Qingkong's waist, Chan Rao, as if to tell Lu Qingkong that you and I are, and at the same time, he was saying that you shouldn't mess around with me. Cough cough. Lu Qingkong coughed and smiled a little embarrassedly. After living together for so long, the two of them have long been connected. Of course he understood the meaning of Khalifa's actions, but he also agreed with Khalifa's thoughts. If Khalifa is really dissatisfied with himself and wants to stop himself, then Lu Qingkong will also give up, but a man is always a little selfish. Since he can't get it, he won't let others get it. Just take them with you. If you can't get it yourself, you won't let others get it. Of course, this is the worst idea. Looking at Khalifa's appearance now, he knows that his worst idea will never appear, so Lu Qingkong is very relieved about this. After all, his previous relationship with Khalifa has long surpassed the limit between ordinary men and women. To a point that words cannot describe. 54054 Make money. I suggest you do a two-pronged approach. Although there is nothing we need in the merit exchange book, there are a lot of things that are suitable for the people in our future ships. When our strength improves, we can organize a fleet similar to Whitebeard. Those of us wouldn't it kill two birds with one stone to use marine's things to reward those who have done a lot of work. And we can see that no one in marine has a bounty, and if there is one, we will earn double income. It won't take long for us to have enough money. Quote. Khalifa coquettishly gave Lu Qingkong a blank eye, but she didn't go into the matter. This is her mystery. Every time she clicks, it stops. First, she can show her generosity, and second, she can tell Lu Qingkong. She is a big woman, and Sanyu can't make people absolutely think that she is a person who cares about everything and is narrow-minded. Her mind is very delicate, otherwise the original book would not have been able to fool Iceberg for so many years. CP9 can hide in the capital of water for so many years, no clues were found. Khalifa's credit is the greatest. Okay, I think the world government will never let go of the current CP9. Such a good labor force is too wasteful, and now the CP9 fleet's strength is still weak, and they have to improve their strength through a lot of battles in Shalu. This kind of killing two birds with one stone, the world government will never let go of the good thing that kills two birds with one stone. Lu Qingkong said very comfortably, and then Tuo dropped Khalifa's black underwear and stockings, and of course her gloves, revealing her jade hands. The skin like suet and white jade, the steamed buns that get fuller with age, the flat belly, and the mysterious little garden all attract Lu Qingkong's body and mind. Network. It's a pity that the current Khalifa and Lu Qingkong have not yet started the most crucial step of development. Although Su Shang Khalifa has begun to grow up plump, but the mysterious garden and Lu Qingkong's giant dragon have not yet entered the final step, so the two can only embrace Kai Luo. Being together, in Lu Qingkong's words, even if you can't really be Xiaohun, you have to have fun. With a plan, Lu Qingkong and the two became active immediately without being like headless flies. The people who were assassinated were basically pirates, and they could go to marine to get bounties and merits. Under the double reward, they were around. Rob Lucci, Kaku and others also discovered this loophole, which is not considered a loophole, so they also followed the pirate mission. Due to their limited ability, they killed less than 20 million people, while Lu Qingkong and Khalifa chose between 20 million and 50 million, and there was no direct conflict between the two sides. For a time, the number of little pirates continued to decrease, and the pirates had fewer and fewer tasks, but other tasks were still piled up. The Marine headquarters also discovered this situation and immediately ordered the tasks of the pirates. No one can only do it every month. Take 10. As for other tasks, there are still no restrictions, but even so, Lu Qingkong and the others are all worth over 100 million, and each is dressed in gold and silver, making the nominal CP9 officer Spandam jealous. It's a pity that he has no way to do anything with his poor strength. Asking him to fight the pirates is basically a death sentence, so he can only see with his eyes every time, but he can't touch it with his hands. Of course, Lu Qingkong will not forget Juliana and Nico Robin while doing the task to make money. He secretly handed a part of Bailey to Juliana to let him build a pirate ship with good sailing ability. Let him be able to escape when he encounters a sudden facking situation. And for Juliana's friend Lu Qingkong, he is very caring. The first merit he exchanged was not a devil fruit, but a quick knife and 50 workers Yoshioka. One word exchanged and handed it over to Juliana, mainly Shiyu. After all, it took too long. He was worried that if there was an accident and the rain stopped, Gulina's combat effectiveness would definitely be much worse, and now she has to take care of a drag bottle Nico Robin to face countless pirates and Marine's attack. Although there are not many with a strength of more than 50 million, many ants can kill an elephant, and the weapon can be easily broken if used for a long time. After all, Shiyu is only the lowest level of fast knife, although it is also a famous knife, but after all, it is not a big quick knife and a supreme big quick knife. No matter how good the quality is, it is limited. Juliana was a little touched by this. Now there are countless masters, not to mention the supremely fast knives and great knives. Even good knives and knives are very rare. The price is not comparable to the original at that time. Bailey is not as depreciated as the original, but it is very valuable now. Every pirate's bounty is given out after careful consideration by the headquarters, but it is not as rich as it was later. In Lu Qingkong and others, day after day, year after year, time slips away quietly, no matter Lu Qingkong, Khalifa, or anyone in CP9. It is constantly soaring, especially with Lu Qingkong as the goal and the stimulation of CP9 members who practice more desperately than the original book, so if their strength grows up, it will definitely not be comparable to the original book. Holy Light. Today, a small island not far from Eni's lobby has become a dedicated venue for CP9. In order not to let the people in Eni's lobby know the strength of himself and others, Lu Qingkong chose this island as the most battle venue. Although the place is not big, every tree in the grove is very tall and lush, so even if there is a special monitoring device for pirates in this small forest, you can't see the situation here. After all, the mirror fruits, it's better not to say things for the time being. As for CP9 and others, Lu Qingkong is still very trustworthy. I really didn't expect Khalifa's fruit to be Logia fruit, and it is also the top fruit of light. How can this be played? It has strong defense, strong attack, strong recovery, and can move at the speed of light to make a hair. Even if it is Marine, the glint fruit of Admiral Kizaru in the headquarters is also just a branch of Khalifa's bright fruit. Kaku looked at the golden light of Khalifa not far away, like a goddess of war bathed in divine light, very speechless. Fortunately, I was kicked by Lu Qingkong, otherwise Khalifa would stare at me and I would be absolutely utterly ruined. Jabra is very lucky now that Lu Qingkong just gave himself a Renkyaku, Tempest kick. If Khalifa shot himself if the Logia fruit elementalization is already invincible, and Rokushiki's level is far superior to him, he was severely injured and then treated with the fruit of light before fighting. Jabra, who had such an idea in his heart, couldn't help but fight. Chills. 55-055 Lu Qingkong vs Khalifa. During this period of fighting together, he and Kumadori were also integrated into Lu Qingkong's circle. In addition to Kaku's threatening, he knew very well how terrible Khalifa was, and his methods were far more savage than Lu Qingkong, so every time he saw him now Khalifa keeps his head down, because he has eaten the dog, fruit, and wolf-shaped ability, so he inherits the characteristics of a wolf. A satyr, he is worried that he can't control his eyes, so every time Khalifa appears, he either closes his eyes, either they lowered their heads and didn't look at Khalifa, Lu Chengkong and Khalifa were also very satisfied with this. But since Khalifa ate the Logia fruit, then Chengkong should also eat it, and with Khalifa's temperament, if Chengkong's fruit ability is not better than her, she will definitely not eat the fruit of light. What fruit is better than the fruit of Logia's light? Strong. Bluno couldn't help expressing his doubts when he looked at Lu Chengkong, who was fighting with Khalifa at this time. Look, that guy Lu Chengkong came to this island because he didn't want the world government to know his fruit ability, but since he called us, you should know what to do. The cool Rob Lucci said flatly. It may be that he is not so cold to CP9 people. Hearing Rob Lucci's words, everyone nodded their heads to show that they knew, and at the same time they were focused on watching Lu Chengkong, wanting to see what kind of fruit he had. Focus on watching Lu Chengkong's performance. Hee, what a smart guy. He saw through my intentions at once, but since you are so curious, I can't hide it, and my fruit ability is just pressure to break through the original realm through Khalifa's bright fruit, mirror clone. I want the full text. Lu Chengkong hummed Isho in his heart, and he didn't hide his fruit ability. Two Lu Chengkong appeared on the left and right at the same time, and the aura emanating from his body told CP9 present that these clones were not simple to confuse others. Yo-yo tilde, it doesn't seem like a big deal. Although the two clones have fighting power, they are at most 5% of Lu Chengkong's body. With these two helpers, it is impossible to defeat Khalifa with the fruit of light. Kumadori is rare without singing or reciting poetry. The speed of speaking is still a bit slow, but it is much better than when Usopp and Chopper are talking in the original book. No, this fruit is definitely more terrifying than the fruit of light. The strongest Rob Lucci's eyes flashed with horror. He was a little confused at first, but he knew Khalifa's temperament. Since Lu Chengkong does not eat the fruit of light, then there is definitely his reason. When he heard the 5% strength of the main body, an idea emerged from his heart. Even if he was very calm and indifferent at this time, the appearance of this idea still couldn't help him. A look of shock appeared on his face. I understand too. Kaku, Jabra and others saw Rob Lucci's appearance, and they understood after a little thought. Maybe the mirror fruit's ability was definitely weak at first, and if the body's strength was not strong, it would be a tasteless fruit, but since the abilities of other fruits can continue to increase with continuous strength and training, why can't Lu Chengkong's, now only 5% of the main body, then in the future 20%, 30 or even 50%, as for the latter, they really can't imagine it. Shigen Finger Pistol 3 combo. The next scene made them even more horrified, because the three Lu Chengkong actually seemed to have the same wisdom, and said at the same time. The three used the shave at the same time to come in front of Khalifa, dodging the attack of the holy light. Shigen Finger Pistol 3 times hit Khalifa at the same time as if they were one. It's useless, but I have elementalization. Khalifa won't keep Lu Chengkong's hands because Lu Chengkong is his boyfriend and lover. As Lu Chengkong's woman, she knows what she should do to make Lu Chengkong more to be happy. For example, in actual combat with him, you must do your best, otherwise it will only make Lu Chengkong angry. So Khalifa at this time completely regards Lu Chengkong as his enemy, and his tone of voice is of course different. I'm sorry I caught it. Lu Chengkong saw that Khalifa turned into a golden light and escaped his Shigen Finger Pistol 3-hit combo. Otherwise, instead of being annoyed, he showed the appearance of a successful trick, which made Khalifa feel a little bit in his heart. As soon as she sank, she knew Lu Chengkong very well, and whenever he showed such an expression, it meant that someone was unlucky. Breakthrough. Lu Chengkong's eyes became pitch black, and there was no whiteness in his eyes anymore. Over the past few years, he has discovered that as long as he encounters the danger of his life, he will never admit defeat and have absolute confidence in himself. After entering this state, he fell into a state of emptiness like the powerhouses who opened the genetic lock in Infinite Horror, and the display of strength was much stronger, and in this state he found that devil fruits increase faster, and breakthroughs are easier. This is the new ability I acquired after my breakthrough. I can see it clearly. Reversal, mirror image. Lu Chengkong said coldly. In this state, he can be said to have sealed all his feelings. At this moment, he is like an absolutely rational and terrifying fighting machine that will never let emotions affect his own strength and judgment. It's impossible, even someone else's clone can be created. Lucci, your guess is right. No wonder Khalifa will eat the fruit of light. This fruit is simply too perverted for the strong, the most powerful assistant ability, and it has actually been upgraded, and now the momentum of these clones has definitely increased by about 5% compared to before. God, this is still the beginning, if it continues to develop. Bluno roared in disbelief, let alone him. Even Rob Lucci, who had been mentally prepared before, was still dumbfounded when he saw the scene in front of him, and fell into a state of sluggishness. He should only be able to copy the opponent's body and strength, but the fruit ability should not be copied. Let's talk. Fukuro Otonashi said with a bit of anticipation, keeping the last fluke in his heart, but it's a pity that fantasy is beautiful, but reality is cruel. Holy light. 2 mirror clones with 10% of Khalifa's main body actually used Khalifa's devil fruit at the same time. Oh my god, they let no one live, even if the power is only 10% of Khalifa's, but to a clone with 10% of her will definitely allow Khalifa to reveal flaws in the battle under an absolutely rational attack. As long as Khalifa reveals the flaws and removes the elementalization, Lu Chengkong, who is staring at him, will definitely kill him with one hit. 56056 Enjoy Khalifa. I lost. Khalifa said casually. There was no loss after the defeat on his face, but he said with pride, this is his Khalifa man, proud of the man. After Khalifa removed the elementalization, Luolua walked to Lu Chengkong's side generously, and Lu Chengkong also disbanded the 2 clones. After this battle, Lu Chengkong can already confirm his previous thoughts. This mirror fruit is definitely not pure and only for himself. The ability of the mirror avatar used can also be used against others, but Lu Chengkong's current strength is that he must touch the opponent's body, even if it is only elementalized, to release the opponent's mirror avatar. Of course, this is only now. In the future, I don't know. And Lu Chengkong also got a piece of information. That is, the mirror fruit will gain some powerful abilities as the percentage of the clone's body strength increases. This time, it is obtained to create a mirror clone of others, so what about the next time? At this time, Lu Chengkong was full of expectations and enthusiasm for the future and development of the mirror fruit. This fruit is too perverted, and if used properly in the hands of the strong, it is simply the most perfect fruit. No. Now your light fruit ability has just begun to develop, and it will become more and more perverted in the future, even in an elemental state for a long time. It is completely possible, and as your use and control of light fruit improve, I attack when you're in your pocket, you can completely spend the attacked part of the moment with local elements, which consumes less energy, and can make a powerful counterattack at the same time. Lu Chengkong is not at all proud, because in his previous life, he said that there is no garbage devil fruit, only garbage users are constantly lashing at him. Although this sentence is not completely correct, it definitely has the value of his existence, just like a rubber fruit. It doesn't seem to have much effect, but it has created a strong constitution for Luffy, and developed the second and third gears at the cost of shortening the lifespan. Although the cost is very high, the effect is huge, and Luffy can clearly he barely kept up with Lucci's progress when his body and strength were far inferior to Lucci's. The more powerful the ability, the greater the price. It is also a huge price for Luffy to gain such a huge power in an instant. Therefore, it is key to play steadily and strengthen the foundation. These abilities can only be used occasionally as trump cards. Instead of developing dependence, Luffy developed this ability in the early stage and developed dependence. As a result, he was so vulnerable against powerful players when he was in Sabayati Archipelago. I also know this, but now I can't reach the point where my heart is elementalized, so I don't dare to use it indiscriminately. If I fail in the battle of life and death, or if the time is a little slower, it means death. As the owner of the ability of the Fruit of Light, Khalifa certainly has this idea. After all, the two of them often exchange their experience in the development and training of the fruit, and at the same time, they also want to let the other party see their shortcomings, which is likely to benefit. There are many, after all, Bystanders understand the truth and they understand the truth. Counting the time, it seems that Name was attracted by Arlong for her ability to draw charts at the age of 8, so Arlong came to Kokoyasi village at that time. Lu Chengkong returned to CP9 Feet's own room. After Khalifa went to take a bath, he secretly calculated that he was 2 years younger than Khalifa, and in the original book Khalifa seemed to be 25 years old, so he was 5 years older than Nami. Now I'm almost 13 years old, and Nami should be almost 8 years old. It's still too late to rush to Kokoyasi village, hee, as long as I save the ugly but kind-hearted Belmir, Nami and Nojiko will definitely treat them. Thank you very much, the strategy will be much easier then. So after having this idea, Lu Chengkong immediately took off his clothes and rushed into the bathroom. In 5 years, Lu Chengkong's height has exceeded the standard, and has reached the point of 1.75 meters. If not for his appearance, he still looks like this. The aura of green serenity that only exists in the 13th or 14th grade, may have thought that this was an adult. Not only that, Lu Chengkong had been looking at the crotch brother who had been looking through the autumn water, and the high-spirited dragon had finally risen, and it had grown to a super good length. After these years of development, the width and width have become more perverted. In the past life, his size was already superior to the yellow race, but now he is completely terrifying than the top size of those black races. Now he just wants to see his fighting ability through Khalifa, who is also growing more mature and plump. How strong is Kaiju? After all, he has been a virgin in 2 lives. He has endured very hard, and now he wants to realize his Pochu plan. Get Khalifa completely, and at the same time make Khalifa completely relieved, because his first time was given to her. Ah, don't pretend, come out. Khalifa first screamed, and then calmed down. Although Ri had slept with Kai Luo every night, but the restraint of her daughter's family, coupled with Lu Chengkong's frequent calls to China, all the information of the ancient traditional woman was instilled in her, which still made Khalifa feel ashamed. Lu Chengkong, who was watching her, also looked like a pig brother when he saw such a beautiful scene in front of him. The brother under his crotch was greatly stimulated and immediately rose up. Lu Mang, but it's really big, can I put it there? Khalifa saw the changes below Lu Chengkong and spat Lu Chengkong. But after Lu Chengkong's continuous edification, Khalifa is looking towards the most perfect traditional Chinese woman in the direction of development. Of course she knew what Lu Chengkong wanted to do at this time. Although she was ashamed to death, in the end she took a deep breath and kept encouraging herself to do it. Then she pretended to be generous and walked in front of Lu Chengkong, picking up a towel to wipe Lu Chengkong's body. It's really comfortable, no wonder so many people like to be the emperor. And the 3,000 in the harem can't compare to my Khalifa. Lu Chengkong couldn't help groaning comfortably, although Khalifa's movements were still very unfamiliar, and because it was the first time the reason is that the jade hand trembled slightly, but even looking at the beauty of Khalifa's delicate body, enjoying the beauty's sincere and diligent service, the enjoyment of the perfect combination of body and spirit is really cool. Really, with Lu Chengkong's praise, Khalifa smiled lightly, like 100 flowers in full bloom. Mei Yan was like a flower, and her trembling movements were stabilized. In addition, her enlightenment was very high, so the more she moved. Being more skilled, Lu Chengkong enjoys it even more. Without the tension before, every movement of Khalifa looks very natural and even has a natural taste. Sure enough, Khalifa has inherited all the advantages of traditional Chinese women. 57057 Eating Khalifa. Well, don't be in such a hurry. After enjoying Khalifa's jade hand service, Lu Chengkong rolled onto the snow-white sheets while holding Khalifa, who had already dried himself. One hand climbed on Khalifa's snow-white and proud plump. Khalifa is only 15 years old, but in terms of body shape at this time, she can completely compete with the 18-year-old Nami in the original book. Not only that, eating bright the fruit Khalifa is full of a holy breath, like an ancient saint, giving people a sense of purity, making Lu Chengkong's heart unable to bear the idea of desecrating her. As long as it is a man, basically, after you have the power, you want to see something beautiful and want to get it. That's how women are, not to mention Khalifa at this time. Your eyes are so terrifying, full of violence and smugness. Fortunately, there is still tenderness in your eyes, otherwise I would have been scared to death by you. Khalifa said timidly, facing Lu Chengkong. Khalifa at this time, just like a little lamb waiting to be slaughtered. All of her powerful strength seems to have been lost, leaving only the timidity of the female Xing to face the strong male Xing she likes. That proves how much I love you and how perfect you are now. Although Lu Chengkong could not wait to eat Khalifa in his stomach, the love for her in his heart made Lu Chengkong's eyes very strange. There is greed, there is violence, but Yu Wang also has indelible tenderness and love, and it is the existence of love and tenderness that makes Khalifa not so afraid, otherwise she may be scared by Lu Chengkong's terrifying eyes at this time. Trembling. Absurd, Khalifa said in disbelief, but after listening to Lu Chengkong's words, she was not so nervous. In fact, her fear came entirely from the girl's fear of the unknown for the first time. But the first time for a woman is extremely painful, and now the giant dragon under Lu Chengkong's crotch is really too much, almost beyond the reach of Ji Xian that humans can achieve. I want it. Well, don't touch it, it's itchy, but it's very comfortable. As Lu Chengkong groped up and down, Khalifa, who had full foreplay, couldn't help crying, and the mysterious garden was getting better and better. The sheep intestines path inside also slowly flowed out tempting mi juice. Wu Yi didn't tell Lu Chengkong that it was time to start. Khalifa, the first time it was a little painful, but it's over after a while. Lu Chengkong pressed Khalifa's sut on top of it and found that it was really weak and boneless, softer than the best sponge, and his skin was better than snow, as smooth as silk, as if Lu Chengkong could not slide him down even if his body was not stable. Well, come on. Khalifa took a deep breath and said firmly. A pair of tender Chushui eyes looked at Lu Chengkong's eyes without fear. I love you. Lu Chengkong also met Khalifa's gaze without showing weakness, as if to transmit his thoughts and all his love for her through the intersection of his eyes. Just as Khalifa was full of love in himself under his eyes, he was already in a state of obsession, when Lu Chengkong immediately drove the giant dragon under his crotch to attack Khalifa's narrow sheep intestines path, where the entrance of the hole could hardly be seen. Ah, it hurts. Khalifa, who was still intoxicated by Lu Chengkong's loving gaze just now, was immediately pulled back to the real world by the tearing pain from his lower body. The nerves flow all over the body and finally enter the brain. The super-sized dragon and Khalifa are only 15 years old now. Even if they develop in advance, they are still a little bit different from the girls who have grown up at the age of 18, and they still surpass human beings in the face. Ji Xian's dragon is a miracle if it doesn't scream in pain for the first time. At this time, Khalifa was like an octopus lifting Lu Chengkong Chan Rao. Although his body was very painful, Khalifa's heart was very sweet. She finally gave it to him, and she knew that Lu Chengkong was the first time. Then it is the first time for both parties, and his first woman is himself, so whether it is calculated by feelings or reasons, the position of the big lady, that is, the big lady, is only her, and she will also be in the future. You don't have to worry about Lu Chengkong being taken away by someone. After all, sometimes you love someone too much, and you're very sensitive. Now Khalifa has no worries anymore. After all, she knows very well that Lu Chengkong is definitely not the kind of person who likes the new and hates the old and abandons the old. She is definitely Lu Chengkong's favorite person now. If Lu Chengkong knows what Khalifa has in mind at this time, the thought will definitely burst into laughter, because in his heart, even if it is for Khalifa for the first time, whether he has a relationship with Khalifa or not, Khalifa will always come first in his heart. Until now, he still remembers clearly who lent a helping hand to him when he was lonely and helpless in another world and gave him a warm home. Who could stop Ye Wolf from forgetting his life and death for himself, chasing himself in the jungle, who accompanies him in every lonely night, who secretly goes to the town hospital to steal books to study medicine for his own sake, sewing and mending clothes, doing laundry and cooking. Although many years have passed, Lu Chengkong has always kept it in his heart as if it happened yesterday. Khalifa, from now on you are mine, completely belong to me, Lu Chengkong's woman, wife, and I must be your man forever and ever. Lu Chengkong's tone is very domineering and hugs Khalifa affectionately said that although his words were very domineering, Khalifa was very useful, and even the pain on his body was completely forgotten. Well, I'm your wife, now, in the future, and always. Khalifa nodded with all his strength. When she was just Po Shen, women were the most emotional and the most insecure and needed people's attention. Although Lu Chengkong is the first brother, he is obviously doing a good job in this regard. You can see Khalifa's sweet face and happy look at this time. You can move now, I'm not in pain anymore. Khalifa knew that Lu Chengkong was very hard to endure, so when the pain in her lower body subsided, she forcibly endured the shyness in her heart and said it with a blushing face. Words of the dead. That's great. Lu Chengkong finally broke out like Faking's bull. The fire of a virgin for more than 30 years broke out in an instant. Lu Chengkong galloped across Khalifa's body like an electric pile driver. There were bursts of tactful pleas for love, shenchants that wanted to die, and heavy breathing. This night was destined to be a sleepless night for this loving couple. 58058 Stubborn Belmere. Among the 4 major sea areas, East Blue, under the most strict control of Marine, this sea area is very ordinary compared to the other 3 sea areas where pirate rookies are emerging one after another. At least nothing major has ever happened. I want it. But today, an extraordinary thing happened in a small village in East Blue. Kokoyasi Village, a very ordinary village on a small island in East Blue, today welcomed a group of pirates returning from the Great Waterway. But these people look strange, although they have human characteristics, but they also have the characteristics of various fish in the sea, such as octopus, cartilaginous fish, kissing fish. That's right, these are the specialties of One Piece, King of Pirates. The mermaid's forehead is not, it's the fish man. These fish man's faces are full of vicious murderous aura. At a glance, you can tell that the visitor is not good. Not only that, but on the sea behind them, there is a special product in the Great Waterway, the manatee. The name is also good enough, called Mu. There are 2 characters for cattle, which proves that I am not lying. Today this is the place where our fish man rule. You low races are only worthy of our fish man as slaves. Human beings are waste. The sea can only be controlled by our fish man. If you want to live, pay your life money. The boss of these fishmen, the sawtooth shark fishman Arlong, led him to the Kokoyasi village and said to the bewildered humans. The powerful murderous aura and the strength far surpassing that of ordinary humans suddenly made these people living in the ordinary world scared and almost ran away, but these escaped people were forcibly caught by Fishman. Although they were not killed, they fell asleep. More than a month in the hospital is inevitable. Che, who do you think you are? I'll never pay you rubbish. Belmere, who is tough and full of blood, said immediately with disdain. Kill me, I want the full text. Arlong's face suddenly became extremely gloomy, but he didn't expect that human beings who were just trash in his eyes would dare to resist him, and even deny him face in front of so many people. He who likes to kill immediately roared. HMPH. Although Belmere is not strong, it does not mean that she will be afraid. She is not only a mouth-watering person. Her tenacity and vigor are deep into the bone marrow, even in the face of a few muscular people. She didn't have any fear when Fishman came to her. In this respect, she deserved everyone's admiration. At least the men present were disgraced and didn't dare to resist. They can definitely kill a lot of Fishman if they work hard, but unfortunately they have long been accustomed to submissiveness in the chaotic era, and they do not have the heart to resist. Wait, if you dare to kill him, the people here will definitely fight hard, even if you are strong, but everyone here will definitely kill some of you Fishman by fighting against you. Ajien finally said at a critical moment, he showed the courage that a man should have. Under his leadership, all the men present were ashamed. In the end, they all mustered up the courage to pick up the sticks and the like around them as weapons and walked out. They are not so great, but because if these fishmen kill people indiscriminately, if they don't resist now, then who knows if it will be their turn in the future. Driven by this atmosphere and supported by this kind of psychology, more and more people will leave. Come out. Are you rebelling against me? Arlong was so gloomy that he was about to drip water, but he had to carefully consider the words in front of him that were trash in his heart. He also knew that Aegean was right, the fishman is very strong, but this is in the water, if all the people in the water can't kill a fishman, but now on land, although fishman's general physical fitness is the same as that of humans, but if they fought desperately against some of the weaker fish monsters could have easily died. Although he is addicted to money and not keeping his promises, he still loves his companions. This is something that many human beings who are extremely selfish and can betray their partners for their own selfish desires do not have. Their admirable side, Arlong too. We can hand over the money to buy our lives, but you are absolutely not allowed to kill anyone. Aegean also knows that they are the weaker side, and it is the best to save their lives. He also knows that the people behind him are not everyone. One is selfless, and they did it to save their own lives, so he didn't make any excessive demands. Okay. After a lot of deliberation, Arlong also understands what these people think. It turns out that they are all selfish people who are greedy for life and fear of death, but Aegean's performance has won his approval. Although his strength is a waste, the expression of his eyes is to tell Arlong that he is also not afraid of death, and doing so is also to save the lives of his family, so in order to prevent his deep fishman from being born, Arlong also agreed, not to mention that they need human beings to serve them. He worked hard as a slave, and now he has come down the stairs. Belmere, you are not afraid of death, but what about your two daughters? Do you want them to die because of you? When Aegean saw what Belmere had to say, he immediately took out Nami and Nojiko as shields. Okay, I'll give it. Maybe only these two daughters could make the stubborn her reluctantly let go of her temper, but there was no surrender in her eyes. After handing over her savings of 100,000 Bailey, it was a pity that one human life is 50,000 Bailey, she has no money. You still have two daughters, what about yours? Or which one do you want me to kill? Although Arlong admired the woman who had just rebelled against him, he wished the woman would say that he didn't have the chance to kill her. Lai Liwei, sure enough, what this woman said next made him very happy, and he almost couldn't help but start immediately. Who said that was my share? The 100,000 is my two daughters' share, my share is not enough. Belmere said frankly without any fear. You. When Aegean was about to say something, he was stopped by Belmere. Belmere is also a strong person. She is never afraid of anyone. She dares to resist anyone, even if she doesn't. This power will also be the same. After buying her daughter's life, she has no worries. I'm sorry, we can say that I don't have a family, even if it kills me. We are indeed not related by blood, but we are family. Even if we just talk about it, I want to be their mother. They are my children! Exclamation mark. Belmere, Nojiko, Nami, I love you both. Belmere knew that she was going to die, but she didn't care at all. She was afraid, the only thing she cared about was the two who came to her at no time. A little girl. Mom, Nami and Nojiko are still young, but under Belmere's teaching, they have been very sensible and strong since childhood, but they know what's going on. Their favorite mother is about to die, so the two of them have already the tears turned into tears, but unfortunately no one here is willing to lend them money, because they didn't have much money in the first place, and they basically handed it all over. Although they couldn't bear it, no one was selfish. In order to make the two children feel that they are not orphans and that they exist. The great mother gave up her life and gave her children the greatest love. This is life, this is mother's love. A man not far away looked ahead in this scene, although the voice is very dull, it is full of emotion and even a trace of envy, because he is an orphan. 59059 Good Mother. It is recommended that I finish this novel, Naruto, The Bone Demon World, the monthly pass in December, that is, this month, give the Bone Demon, and I will give my best to this book from next month. Thank you for your support, especially the brothers who gave rewards. You still have me. A sexy and charming man standing beside the man hugged his hand and held his hand at the same time as if to make this man not lonely again. Yes, I still have you. Lu Changkong, the man who put away his emotions, nodded in agreement. Then you can only die. Arlong deliberately walked towards Belmere step by step in order to establish his own prestige and at the same time cause great psychological pressure on these people, but Belmere's performance disappointed her. Now, this woman actually did not have a trace of fear in the face of death, and looked at him with a pair of eyes without showing weakness. Who gave you the power to kill here? You are saying that humans are waste. Fishman is a higher race. Huh, rubbish-like existence. Don't forget that you Fishman can survive in the Great Waterway because of the existence of Whitebeard. Without Whitebeard, you Fishman are nothing but playthings in the Tenryubito auction house. Just as Arlong was about to stretch out his hand to crush Belmere, a cold voice full of sarcasm and disdain suddenly sounded. Who? Arlong was full of piercing murderous intent at this time. This could be said to be the pain in his heart, his scar. He believed that humans were garbage, low-level beings, and they were Fishman. They were high-level beings, but they were Fishman. Man is relying on Whitebeard for shelter in the Great Waterway, which is a shame for him, but Whitebeard's powerful and terrible strength is not something he can resist. Although he is racist, it does not mean that he does not in his head. He knew very well that their Fishman would be absolutely miserable without Whitebeard. Of course it's me. I want the full text. Lu Chengkong walked out with Khalifa. His eyes were full of ridicule and disdain when he looked at Arlong, exactly the same as when he looked at humans before. I'm going to die. Arlong had completely forgotten what was not allowed to kill at this time. His heart was full of murderous intent after his scar was opened by Lu Chengkong. But it was a pity that he was suddenly seen before he even lifted his footsteps. Lu Chengkong in front of him pinched his head with one hand and lifted it up, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't move. Resisting, Lu Chengkong's right hand clamped his head tightly like a vice. It's not impossible. Arlong's mouth can bite off a cannonball in one bite. He was lifted by that human with one hand, and his mouth couldn't be opened. Facing such a sudden change, the Fishman behind him couldn't help it. They couldn't react, and when they reacted, the first words they said were unbelievable words. Tell me, you Fishman are a higher race, so what are you now? Fishman can exist only because of the protection of humans, then humans are waste, then you are not as good as waste, now you, a higher race, are in mine. If you can't even resist in your hands, then you are not as good as a waste. Lu Chengkong doesn't have any good feelings for such a person. After all, he is also a member of human beings, and he can only live by being sheltered by human beings. The Fishman who came down said it was trash. He could have a good impression. This is the unexplained hatred between races. No one is right, and no one is wrong. The key lies in who is the stronger side of the two parties, then who is right. The truth and the truth are always in the hands of the stronger side. Wrong and right are nothing but the same. The strong have the final say, so he was very disappointed with the performance of these humans just now, especially those men. He would be beaten if he fell behind. He hated anything like Confucius, comedy. He believed in when others beat you. Fist, then you will kill his whole family. Since you have offended me, you must be mentally prepared to be exterminated by me. Don't be too arrogant, kid. These Fishmans woke up immediately, were aroused by Lu Chengkong's words, immediately picked up their weapons and used their own stunts to charge towards Lu Chengkong. You guys are very good, dare to resist, but these are just overthinking, but it's good, at least it's better than the useless people behind you. Lu Chengkong's words suddenly made the human faces behind him speechless. But they knew that what Lu Chengkong said was right, and Lu Chengkong's strength made them dare not resist. Even the powerful Arlong just now could not move in Lu Chengkong's hands. The gap was really too big. Rangkyaku, Tempest Kick Storm. Lu Chengkong didn't even look at the coming Fishman. He directly kicked the void, and a 360-degree circular vacuum slashed from Lu Chengkong like a tornado. His body was rippling in circles, and all the Fishmans he passed were cut in half. At this time, Fishman's powerful constitution vitality became an existence that made them more painful, because of their strong. After their vitality was cut in half, they did not die immediately, screaming on the ground for more than a minute before dying. In an instant, the incomparably powerful Fishman was actually killed by Lu Chengkong with one kick. The only one who survived was the Manatee Mu, the one in the original book who had never bullied humans. He had a simple, idiotic, and dull personality. This was completely broken by Arlong, and under Arlong's leadership, he was able to keep himself clean and never bullied any human beings. Later, he was injured because Luffy and others dared to fight against Tenryubito. All this means that he can live. The reason for coming down, if he was really that bad, Rayleigh wouldn't be friends with him. As for Arlong, of course, Lu Chengkong pinched his head and beheaded him by Renkyaku Tempest Kick. At this time, his upper body was still on Lu Chengkong's right hand. Until Arlong died, Lu Chengkong threw him to the dead fish man pile. You go back and tell Rayleigh, I will go to him one day. You are fine, you didn't hurt some innocent people for some unnecessary reasons. Since your dream is to open a takoyaki shop, then you will go to Sabayati Archipelago to find Rayleigh and let him drive with you. You won't be bullied by Tenryubito with him. Let's go. Lu Chengkong also has a good impression of this fish man, otherwise he will not let him go. Leaving the Manatee Mu as a sailing tool for him to go back to Sabayati Archipelago. After all, he is the kind of person who is indifferent to the world, then he will die if he fulfills himself. Yeah, to be honest, after Fisher Tiger's death for so many years, he followed Arlong and watched him kill many innocent people. He was very dissatisfied, but he was of the same family, and the people here all hated human beings. Yes, even if he wanted to resist, there was nothing he could do, so he could only keep himself clean and not be influenced by them, so he didn't feel sadness or hatred for the deaths of Arlong and the others. After all, they killed innocent people. But more and more miserable, so who did they seek revenge for? The murderer will always be killed. Your name is Belmere, right? Have you ever wondered what will happen to your daughter if you die? You are great as a mother, but if you want to protect your daughter, it's not just not afraid of death. That's all right, you have to have the strength to protect them. I am an orphan, and I know very well what the life of an orphan will be like. You are a good mother. I hope you can protect them well. Eat this thing. 6060 Nami, Nojiko's promise. Lu Chengkong took out a banana and threw it in front of her as he spoke. He was an orphan in his previous life and longed for maternal love, but these were not outdated expectations, and he had seen many irresponsible mothers treat them on earth. The performance is very disgusting. But seeing Belmere's performance with his own eyes just now brought back memories of him, and at the same time moved him very much. The shock was so great that he even forgot the purpose of his visit this time. At this time, he just wanted to finish a dream in his heart, that is, to let the good mother in front of him survive and have the strength to protect his daughter, so he gave the good mother the devil fruit he exchanged for his meritorious deeds. This is the zone fruit in the devil fruit, the cat fruit tiger shape. I hope you won't let me down. The leopard shape in the cat fruit was exchanged by Rob Lucci. He likes the speed of the leopard, the body is strong, the movement is flexible, the running speed fast, so he chose the fastest leopard among the tigers, lions, and leopards. After all, many things in this world cannot be evaluated with the inherent vision of the earth, especially the devil fruit. The strongest among the three on earth is the tiger. But it may not be the case in devil fruit, it just depends on the user's use, expertise and development. Lucci has enough power with Rokushiki, but he thinks the speed is not enough. Fast, and he has a soft spot for the leopard, and the leopard's blessing of strength is weaker than the two, but in terms of speed alone, it is faster than the previous two. I want full text. When you search on the internet, you know that the tiger is the most perfect predator. It can be said that it is the most perfect existence in all aspects. It has everything in it, and its strength is definitely better than that of the lion, but the lion has the title of the king of beasts, but the strength is weaker than the tiger. Although the lion's strength is one of the largest among the cats, and the speed is very fast, but the strength is not the greatest. The strength and speed of the lion are not comparable to that of the tiger. Filtered out by Rob Lucci. The tiger is not only stronger than the lion, but also faster than the lion, only slower than the leopard. Before, Lu Chengkong watched Rob Lucci's choice between the leopard and the tiger tangled for a long time, and finally told him his opinion. Choosing what he likes the most, what he is best at, is just like when he gave up the logia fruit and chose paramesha, that is the feeling in his heart. So Rob Lucci's final choice was the same as in the original book. He chose a leopard. Of course, Lu Chengkong can only exchange the tiger shape of the cat fruit. As for the lion, he stayed there and seemed to be bought by someone. Kaku doesn't seem to be if he likes lions, his merits can also be exchanged. After all, his strength is only inferior to Lu Chengkong, Khalifa, and Lucci, but at that time there was no devil fruit he liked, so he exchanged 2 weapons, which is him of 2 knives. Later, I went to perform a mission, so even if I had a new devil fruit at that time, there was no way to exchange it, and at that time, I was worried about going into the water in order to perform the mission, so the world government did not let him and Khalifa eat devil fruits, so in the end, it was the time of the Enies lobby battle that he ate the Niu Niu fruit, and it didn't take long for him to make the Niu Niu fruit so powerful. This shows how talented he is, and even Lu Chengkong is very concerned about this. I used to YY once if he and Lucci were the same age and everyone ran the same line together, what would it be like? The possibility of not being on a par with each other may also be quite high, but this is only possible. After all, the further the Taoist value is, the more difficult it is to improve. Rob Lucci can become the strongest person in CP9 in the 800 years of the original book. Lu Chengkong was relieved after seeing Belmere eating the cat, fruit and tiger shape. With Belmere's stubborn character, after this time, she will definitely continue to develop the strength of the cat, fruit and tiger shape, even if it can't reach CP9. But it's still no problem to protect Nami and Nojiko in the most stable sea area of East Blue, so he also retired. Why do you say that? It's very simple. Lu Chengkong's sincere performance just now not only conquered Belmere, but even the 2 lowly looked at him with admiration, so he should leave. After all, he is still CP9, he came out to complete the task, and he couldn't disobey the rules of CP9 too much before he left CP9. Brother, my dream is to draw a map of the whole world. How about being a navigator for you when I grow up? My mother said that I should repay my gratitude. You saved my mother. I have nothing to repay you, only this way. At this time, Belmere hadn't died because of lack of money, and Nami didn't have to leave Kokoyashi village since she was a child to sail out to earn Bailey, so at this time, she still didn't like money as much as in the original book. But just now, Belmere almost died because of lack of money, so at this time, little Nami was determined to make a lot of money when she grew up. She must not let this situation happen again, although she is very sensible, but after all, I am still young and I have not experienced the changes in the original work, so I saw that the knowledge is superficial, and I did not find that money is not the most important thing. What really determines everything is strength. Although Lu Chengkong also saw this, but he is no point. After all, is Nami who doesn't like money still Nami? Moreover, Lu Chengkong believed that under the condition that Belmere did not die, and at the same time under her guidance, Nami would never be as fond of money as in the original book, because she lost Belmere without money, and she has not lost it now. And Belmere, a good mother, gave her good advice and would not go the wrong way, so Lu Chengkong was very relieved about it. Even if Nami really liked money, it was nothing. He believed that Nami was facing his own problems. It will never be like this at times, and it will remain as innocent as it is now. Me too, I don't know how to draw maps, but I can grow fruit, and I'll grow the best and most delicious fruit for you. Little Nojiko assured with the same serious look. Okay, I'll bring you next time if I need it, the future genius navigator, and the fruit master. There was a very innocent smile on Lu Chengkong's face, because Nami and Nojiko were in front of him. His memories in the orphanage made Lu Chengkong feel as if he had returned to his childhood. Instead of rejecting it, he agreed directly. Khalifa, who was beside him, also had a gentle and contented smile. This time, she was not jealous because she understood Lu Chengkong's feelings at this time.